NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. And by Toyota.
This is the most difficult track you go to all year.
Their entire season is on the line at a place that you can't predict.
Road courses are a great place to lose a lot of points.
Can he hang on to it? No, he's going to go around.
Hold on to it, hold on to it, hold on to it.
He gets his first Xfinity Series win.
I'm so freaking proud of you.
Out in front of the field today as the official pace car for the race is the 2020 Toyota GR Supra. And right behind him will be the starting grid. We're going to go through that from Las Vegas, Nevada. The 22-year-old Noah Gragson and Justin Haley out of Indiana will make up row 1.
Yeah, for instance, in row 3, Ross Chastain. He's the driver, currently sits just above the cut line. Harrison Burton trying to put the pressure on him. Him and Ryan Sieg will make up row 3.
Austin Cindric, Kaz Grala making up row 6. Mentioned Cindric's successes. Earlier this year, he had a stint where he won 5 out of 6 races, tying Sam Ard as the only one to do that in the Xfinity Series.
Be a lot of excitement. Jeremy Clements back there in row 9. A road course winner in his career. Brett Moffitt, he's running full-time in the Truck Series, going for a Truck Championship, and he's here getting a little Roval time in the Xfinity Series. AJ Allmendinger in row 11, Rick. He's going to be one of the favorites, not running for points, so the pressure of the playoffs don't really affect him. He can just go out here and race for trophies.
Preston Pardis back there in row 15. That young man has been running Spec Miata and wants to bring his road course successes here to the Xfinity Series. Says this is one of his favorite racetracks.
Spec Miata. That just sounds like a fun car to drive.
All right, let's dial up Justin Haley on the radio as they're working their way around the Roval.
Hey, Justin, it's the boys up in the NBC booth. You got us?
Yeah, Temple.
We've been telling everybody how difficult this racetrack is. Give it to us from your point of view. Why is this track so difficult?
Yeah, this track has been always difficult. Just super narrow, no room for air. Especially today, it's looking like it's going to rain, so we're going to have to learn the track. It's going to rain, and then we're going to have to relearn the track. So trying to get all the heat and the brakes here, make sure everything's running well, and make sure the sleep filter got protection Chevrolet stays up front.
Well, your win last week moves you into the next round of playoffs. How does that change how you approach today?
We can do some different stuff, but we still have to attack today. With the new qualifying format, we have to go out there and set ourselves up for a good qualifying effort next week. So can't lay over at all, still gonna push, just with a little less stress.
All right, buddy, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And Steve, I see that we're going to be riding along with Justin Haley. He's one that will be carrying a camera.
Yeah, I have the leaf filter onboard camera. We have a great shot of the work he does here, and we get to do a little spy work. Check out the feet of Justin Haley. The road course, that can be where all the action happens down there, all so much braking. His teammate as well, AJ Allmendinger, has the Nutrient Ag Solutions onboard camera, and he has the right front bumper camera. We're going to see great looks of the curbing, the turtles, hopefully no other race cars. Then we have Harrison Burton with the Toyota onboard camera. As you see right there on the helmet, just above the visor, this is the shot. The helmet cam for Harrison Burton. This is going to be a great view. I always love the driver's point of view.
Well, you mentioned driver's point of view. Let's get our driver's point of view as we take a lap here at the Charlotte Roval.
Yeah, they take the Charlotte racetrack and turned it into a road course with 17 turns, 2 chicanes, one on the back straightaway, one on the front straightaway. A lot of speed around turns 1 and 2 NASCAR down the back straightaway. A lot of speed in 3 and 4 as well.
Turn 1, we've seen so many wrecks in this corner. On restarts, a very difficult restart. You're actually approaching this corner faster on a restart than you do on a normal lap. So it throws all the braking zones off. It's not unusual to see a multi-car wreck there, Junior.
Yeah, the infield very, very slick. Drivers complain about having no grip through there. It's going to be interesting when it gets wet how much grip they're going to have on this racetrack. You see a lot of guys making mistakes here. Overdriving that infield, it doesn't take much to slip a tire and then you're off into the barriers.
This front stretch chicane, you see trying to enter this section of the racetrack side by side. It's very difficult. And then just getting slowed down is very difficult. Right here, just overshooting it. If you miss that chicane, you got to stop on the front straightaway or there will be a penalty.
And crew chiefs are keeping their eye on the radar and the TV screen because they know that if it rains, they've got rain tires that they will put on for this one.
The rain is coming down.
Raindrops as the rain picks up. Have to deal with this situation. Rain and a wet racetrack.
Careful now, the racing surface covered in water. You can see the spray. It's a trouble corner in the dry. It's treacherous in the wet.
These teams have been looking at where the progress of Hurricane Delta was going to take the remnants of that storm, and this is what we're seeing right now. The radar showing it is just a few miles away from the track here, but again, rain tires are available for these teams. There are 2 sets of them. And let's go to a guy who's raced in the Camping World Truck Series, the Gander Truck Series, as well as the Xfinity Series. Jesse Owuji, what about racing in the rain?
Racing in the rain. We all used to love playing in the rain as a kid, but racing in the rain, I don't know if we all love that. But as you look into the pits, you're going to see different sets of tires. You're going to see your rain tires. You're going to see your dry set of tires. You can see the difference between the coloring of the letters on the tires. The white lettering was going to show you that these are going to be the racing or the rain tires, and then the dry tires will be for the yellow ones. You can see there's a difference in the tread. So for the rain tires, you can see this actual tread pattern right here for channeling water through the grooves right here, so you can actually get the maximum amount of grip in the rain. But on the dry tires, it's completely smooth. The reason why it's completely smooth because you want the most amount of tire patch to contact the racing surface and give you maximum grip. These rain tires do not work great in the dry. Once you get into dry, they're gonna get really hot and it can destroy the tires. So these drivers really have to figure out a way to tire manage and make sure that they don't destroy these tires if they do have to go to these rain tires today. Rick?
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting. I know that there's rain coming on the radar, and these teams are going to get that opportunity to race in the rain. And the different types of asphalt that we have, Jeff, we've got the oval asphalt, which is done several years ago, and then the newer road course Roval asphalt on the interior of the racetrack is different. This different surface has different sort of reactions to the tire and to the wet. And then also you have the PJ1 compound that's been sprayed down on turns, NASCAR turns 1 and 2, and in turns 3 and 4. How does the water react to that? I don't think any of these drivers can answer that question.
Well, let's have our crew chief answer the question of the race analysis. Steve, all right, you break this race down for us by the numbers.
Well, you guys mentioned it. We're at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but not on the oval. We're on the Roval, 67 laps, a little over 150 miles. The first stage and the second stage, both 20 laps in length. The final stage, 27 laps. The fuel window, 35 to 37 laps. Now, I want to put a little asterisk to say that's in the dry. In the rain, these guys can go way further just because they cannot use that throttle. So that will change a lot of the strategy as we go.
There you see that two-tone asphalt. The darker, higher groove is where the traction compound was sprayed down many years over the last several trips here.
Before the green flag flies, let's listen into the radio of the 17.
All right, boys, let's go have ourselves a good day. It's cool seeing fans in the grandstand. Let's go put on a show for them, and love to go to victory lane to this place. It would mean a lot. I know you guys down there same, so.
And Burton, you mentioned earlier that they would be going faster because right now you're seeing them skip the chicane for the start, and any restart they will go around the normal oval here at Charlotte. Green flags in the air. And right away, diving into Heartburn turn. Turn 1 here at Charlotte.
Austin Cindric, very aggressive. Took those guys 3 or 4 wide, gained a few spots early on in that 22 car. Chase Briscoe to the inside of Ryan Sieg here, making it 3 wide.
Saw the 68 of Brandon Brown also trying to get a position early on here in this race. First lap. The 22 of Austin Cindric. Mentioned right now 3rd in the playoff standings, hasn't won this round, but looking to advance into the round of 8. Again, 4 drivers will be eliminated at the end of this race.
And look how many spots he's already picked up in that 22 car. He has a ton of experience. He's rolled through the field already. He and Chase Briscoe in that 98 car both picked up a lot of spots before we even made 1 lap. Very hard braking zone right here. It's really easy to get in trouble. Side by side through this corner is dangerous.
What about going over the paint right here, the exit of this chicane? Will that get slick when it rains?
Yeah, totally fine right now in the dry. I expect that when the rain falls, that red area right there will just be super, super slippery to get the power down. And here you go. Lap 1 complete, and the 22 of Cindric continuing to take spots. He's got to move all the way up.
5th.
Into the 5th position. I needed some timing help, Rick. Couldn't count. 1, 2, 3.
All the way up to 5th. So Cindric, we knew that he would be a favorite coming into this race. It's going to be interesting, that variable of precipitation. What will happen is once it does start to rain, NASCAR will throw a caution, and then the drivers will come to pit road and switch over to the rain tires or the wet tires.
Well, it's optional. They can throw the caution out, say, okay, it's raining, but it may only be raining in 1 corner. It may only be raining in 1 area of the racetrack as we ride on board with Justin Haley right here. If this whole infield section somehow misses the rain, you may think you can get through the high banks in the wet. I don't think that's a good decision, but it's totally up to the teams. That's what's important to know. NASCAR will give you 1 yellow, and then from there say, all right, guys, good luck.
Teammates right here racing each other. Justin Haley, who won at Talladega, he advances to the next round and just getting by him in the 10. Ross Chastain.
AJ's already been packed. He is not wasting any time.
Talking about AJ Allmendinger, already up in the top 15.
He's not wasting any time. Another driver that wasn't wasting any time was Austin Cindric. Drivers, you guys called about it. Look at this right here. This is the initial start of the race, and look at Cindric jump out of line right here. He's going to just hang a left and try to outbrake Harrison Burton and try to get inside Brandon Brown. The 98 gives him room. That aggression continued for that entire lap. I get nervous.
Caution's out. We got a crash. NASCAR turn 4 over here in pit entry. The right rear tire's flat on that car.
Broke in the rear.
Something broke in the rear, and so Brett Moffitt, as you mentioned, running for a Truck Series championship.
We talk about something breaking in the rear. One thing about this racetrack is the curbing is very, very violent here, very high. When you hit the curbing, it can break parts and pieces on these race cars. There's some advantage in making better lap time by using it.
You can feel it moving from the start, and then it just let go going through the big track there.
Something obviously he felt right from the start of the race, to your point, Jeff, and then he felt it let go. But those curbs, if something was loose, that curbing that you mentioned can put a shock to the system.
So the first caution has come out at the Charlotte Roval for the Xfinity Series. Today's race has special meaning as Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina and Charlotte Motor Speedway have teamed up for the Drive for the Cure 250 to promote breast cancer awareness. The honorary bright pink pace car covered in more than 1,000 digital signatures and photos from people all over the state, supporting breast cancer awareness and the importance of early detection of breast cancer. So we're under caution at the Charlotte Roval, and the reason why you see now the two of Brett Moffitt back in the garage area, but here he is on the track, Junior.
Yeah, you can see the tire smoking as it's rubbing the left rear quarter panel. The track bar is broken on that car. This is the spin further around the racetrack, tearing the right rear tire off the car, but he's going to the garage. See what the real issue is with that car. He's got a failure on the chassis or the track bar mount of the track bar itself.
Yeah, definitely an issue for sure. A lot of chat on the radio, Junior, about rain. We talked about the radar. Well, it is basically on top of us here. Kind of a little scattered on the front edge, but a solid chunk of rain, so I imagine we're going to see some drops. And looking out the booth here, you can see the weather off at a distance. I mean, it's very overcast. Let's listen in to Austin Cindric about the weather.
Already getting some precipitation up here. Like it's pretty big drops too, so might happen to switch over here sooner than later.
Looks like it's going to rain about for an hour.
There you have it. So just to review everything, if it rains at any point now that the race is on, NASCAR is going, if we are under green, NASCAR will throw a yellow, say it's for weather, open pit road, just like any other caution. You can lose spots, gain spots, and you can then choose to put treaded tires on. You could stay with the tires you have. The only real required thing in the wet condition is the rear window gets a running light, and that's just because visibility. And let me tell you, we're going to show you the visibility. It's awful when the rain comes out, as we see some pretty heavy drops right here on the windshield and on that roof camera. The windshield wiper turns on. The wiper and the defoggers are optional, but I'm going to tell you, if I'm a driver, I'm going to want both to work.
Steve, is it just a switch to engage that red light that you're talking about?
Normally, yeah, everything is on a switch. The red light, the windshield wiper, the defogger. The reason I say it's required is because, you know, that is the one thing that NASCAR can tell you you have to come in for. If your red light doesn't work and we're in wet conditions, that would be a really bad reason to have to sit on pit road and try to figure out your electronics.
The visibility issue, they want to make sure that, and you're already seeing some of the lights are on. We see it with Noah Gragson already.
So it's not a brake light. I just want to be clear. You saw it flashing on Gragson. It's a running light. It's on all the time. It's not like the one on your street car, you know, that gets brighter when they step the brakes. It's more like, you know, it's red the whole time. And we're hearing NASCAR said that the yellow is now out for weather. What that means is this is the opportunity. They're not going to give you another one. If you feel it's time to switch to wet weather tires, this is your chance to pit. And I'm telling you, I'm so happy I'm up here and not on a pit box, because this is stressful, but a level of racing. We see it in IMSA. We see it in other racing, right, Jeff? I think this is exactly what should happen. Leave it to the teams.
Yeah, what's stressful about it is if it were to stop raining and you put wet tires on, it's going to eat those tires up. Those rain tires, wet tires, are not made for dry asphalt. So if it were to stop and you put these tires on, it will just absolutely destroy them. And you only get 2 sets of wet tires.
So we're hoping they don't wear out, is the goal here with only 2 sets.
Well, I think at this point, looking at the radar, you know rain is imminent. It's coming for sure. I think you have to pit here and put your rain tires on. I mean, you see the rain is coming. You hope the rain gets here soon enough. If you have to restart with a mostly dry racetrack, as Jeff pointed out, it can be very difficult on the tires. Let's listen in to the 7 team and their opinion.
You're going to have to help me on this one, Jason, because I don't know how quickly the actual wet stuff's going to be here. Like I would say right now, we're still in it, you know, we're still slicks, but if it's going to come down quickly, we'll need to go to rain.
And you know, here's the trouble. If you know, you're guessing the weather. I mean, if you
meteorologists do it every day.
Yeah, so if the 7 pits right here puts on rain tires and the rain doesn't come, then they're in the situation Jeff pointed out about burning up the rain tires. If you stay on the racetrack on slicks, you could go one corner. You may crash if you're fortunate enough not to crash, and you can get back to pit road. Now you've given up your track position. It looks to me like pit road is going to be busy. Looking out the window here, most every pit crew is standing on the wall with treaded tires. This is the decision time right here. These cars will have to take the hard left turn and come down pit road. And this is a live pit stop. You will gain and lose positions just like any other pit stop during the race.
Let's go down to Dave.
And they're going to put the wet weather tires on here from Goodyear for the 22 of Austin Cindric. In talking with Austin and crew chief Brian Wilson this morning, the decision to put on the tires means that you have to take care of them until it's really wet out there, and as the track starts to dry, take care of them more. Remember, only 2 sets available today of the wet tires, Dylan.
A.J. Allmendinger is coming down pit road as well after carving his way from 22nd to 14th. The debate was A.J. felt like the track wasn't quite wet enough yet to commit to putting the wet weather tires on unless it was going to continue raining. Crew chief Justin Cox said, oh yeah, it's going to keep raining. 4 wet weather tires going on the 16 Allmendinger.
Topping off with fuel, and pretty much unanimously, you see the white letters of the Goodyear Eagles on these Xfinity drivers as they're pulling off of pit road. The rain has started to come down. The track not completely wet yet, but most of the teams have decided they will put the rain tires on. And we're coming to the restart from the Charlotte Roval, racing in the rain.
How far do you go into turn 1? Where do you brake?
Well,
how much grip is there? How wet is it?
Up through the here they go. Windshield wipers working on some. Diving in to the Tubbs Heartburn turn, and it's wet.
And 3 wide.
Good fight going on here. 10 of Ross Chastain on the left side. 9 of Noah Gragson, shoving him off the racetrack.
Rick, you talked about the windshield wipers working on some. I think some drivers don't have them on just because the rain's not very heavy. I question if all of these rain tires aren't on too soon. They only have 2 sets. Will these tires hold up to these barely damp conditions?
We showed you the radar, the rain just outside of the smallest circle that is around this racetrack.
I find this really interesting. Junior talked about it where they put PJ1 down, not for this race, but for other races. Does that make it slick? These heavy braking zones, these drivers don't know where to lift. They're learning under, you know, as the race goes on. A mistake here could end your day. I do believe that paint, see that paint right there? I think you got to stay off of that paint.
Oh, yeah, very slick.
Yeah, so this racetrack has a lot of painted surfaces. I think it's going to be really important to stay off of that.
That was Michael Annett, the one that almost went around. Gregson's out front in the 9.
A.J. Allmendinger almost missed the final chicane here. He's drove all the way up to 5th place, but almost missed the chicane and had to come to a stop. Barely made the curb.
There he is, A.J. Allmendinger, as you mentioned, up to 5th already.
Teammates up there battling for 2nd.
And A.J.'s not a regular in the Xfinity Series. He's not in the playoffs. He doesn't run the full series. But he obviously is going to help out teammates from colleague racing as far as teaching them the road course. But now when they're on the racetrack against each other, he is competing against them. Dave.
And how about Ross Chastain in that green and black number 10? Talked about him being on the cut line, trying to make it through to the round of 8. He's already working on his teammate that you see there, but he was just saying before the race that I'm just trying to keep him in sight. He's been very aggressive and very good so far in the 10, Dylan.
Dave, we talked about A.J. Allmendinger. Now he's carved through the field. As you see his two colleague teammates there racing towards the front for Allmendinger. This was the mission and his assignment. Hey, we've got to get up front here by the end of stage 1 to take away some points from those guys who are battling Chastain. So that's the advantage of having that third car that's not really in the thick of it. 1, they're just going after a race win. But 2, if they get up there and mix it up, they're taking away valuable points that others need. So A.J.'s done that, started 22nd. He's already up to 5th, and they are excited that it is raining because A.J. loves racing in the wet.
Well, they got to be careful. They only have 2 sets of rain tires, and if the track isn't wet, Steve, you told me that it'll just tear away at these tires.
Yeah, I mean, they're designed to run in the wet, so they're very, very soft. They're treaded. They have a smaller contact patch. The heat just tears these tires apart. So the question is, how far can they go? And the teams just don't have a lot of experience. This isn't something, you know, you can go to your notebook and say, oh, the 20 different times we've done that. This is what the driver is looking for.
Here's the one, once again, of Michael Annett, just flirting with the paint. And immediately the back end kicks out.
I think as the track gets wet, if we get more rain, I think the advantage for the ringers that we used to call them, like AJ, gets bigger. It's already tough for these guys, these Xfinity regulars, to compete with AJ on a dry road course. When it gets wet, he could drive off and leave these guys.
He's up to 4th now. A.J. Allmendinger, it was confirmed that...
Look at that windshield wiper.
Yeah, windshield wiper's not working.
Not doing so well.
Windshield wiper's working good at speed, huh?
He's been confirmed he'll run in the Rolex 24 again at Daytona in the IMSA.
He hopes he's got some good Rain-X on that windshield.
That's less than ideal. I keep looking.
Oh, he's got a little issue there.
Yeah.
It's like he got on a seam, or it is the traction compound that is getting a little slick. I'd say the seam, that seam is like it's kind of a tar solution they stick in the cracks of the racetrack, and water's just going to sit right on top of that stuff.
You see the precipitation on our cameras. And on occasion, we'll see some of the windshield wipers going for these cars. But Steve, you mentioned the rain might not happen all around the track. Like right here, we're seeing there is precipitation on this camera for Justin Haley. He's in the infield right now. But this racetrack is so big, there might be corners of this track where it's not raining.
Yeah, and that will help these tires out, give them areas to cool. And as I see these cars sliding around, it must be some sort of dampness out there. One driver, I'm trying to figure out what happened too. Cindric had a bad pit stop. He's outside the top 10 right now. We'll have to see if he can make up some spots in the next 10 laps. Dave.
And guys, just a quick, here's what's really happening in real time in the rain on the racetrack. I'm positioned down near the last 3 corners of the track. That's at pit entry. And it's raining quite a bit more than it was when they went back to green. It's that tropical storm kind of rain that comes in bands. All of a sudden you'll feel this sheet of rain, light rain, but a lot of it. And that's what they're experiencing now, at least down on this end of the track. Jesse?
Yeah, Dave, so looking at Justin Haley, looks like he's having that windshield wiper problem, and I actually had the exact same issue when I was racing at Road America. We started off the race and it was dry, then all of a sudden, maybe 10 laps in, it started to rain, and it started to rain hard. I turned on my windshield wiper, it decided to pretty much stand up straight and then eventually come off. I came into the pits, we tried to fix it. It didn't work, but track position is so key and so crucial. So if you can drive without it, you just got to do it. Throw on some Rain-X, get out there, drive. You got to battle it out and just tough it out for the rest of the race.
Look at Briscoe bringing the fight to AJ. I talked about AJ, pumped him up. said he's going to run off from these guys if it got wet. Briscoe's doing a pretty good job of hanging on to him right here.
Keep something in mind too, as this race, as you just got that report about how the rain starts and it stops. That means every time they approach a corner, it's different than it was the lap before. So as a race car driver, you're learning every single lap what to do, every corner what to do. But as you approach the corner, it's a different situation. Now all that information that you gained is gone, and you have to be learning it on the fly.
The rain has started. It's coming down here at the Charlotte Roval, but that's okay. We'll race in the rain. The Xfinity Series with Gregson out front. We'll go NASCAR nonstop.
This is freaking insane.
Tonight, historic rivals return to South Bend. Florida State takes on number 5 Notre Dame at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. They play football in the rain, and we are racing in the rain here at the Charlotte Roval. And right now, Noah Gragson out in front. Haley is running in the second spot. He has an issue with his windshield wiper. So does the 10 of Ross Chastain, who is running third. Harrison Burton has jumped up there to 4th. Allmendinger dropped back to 5th.
It's not raining. It's freaking pouring. It's pouring rain.
It's changed now.
Chastain almost hit the wall right there. He was really close to getting in the wall. They're going to have to back their pace up now. All these drivers, like we talked about it earlier, they've been learning how to do this, but it's completely changed now because it is absolutely pouring.
And how do these guys see without windshield wipers right now? I mean, we know the 10 and the 11, their windshield wipers are not working.
I think the ones that are working aren't helping.
Well, the 10's losing a lot of spots right here. And why does that matter? He and Harrison Burton, they are in a tight battle. This stage in is 8 to go. Harrison's up to 3rd. Chastain right now is down to 10th. And people coming from behind hard on him.
Oh, and into the wall, the 47. So now potentially an issue for Kyle Weatherman. Might bring the caution out here, but he's getting it back. It looks like he's going to get it back onto the asphalt. Sure enough, he will, and we stay green. This is what happened.
Oh boy, there's just no grip. I mean, it's just raining so hard.
Well, he's not the only one. Briscoe right here, he kind of gets squeezed into the corner by the 16, but then just gets on the gas. I don't know if it was the left rear getting on the curbing, but instantly spins right here coming to the start-finish line.
He was 5th when he spun right there.
Was
5th.
Jeff, you bring it up. The stage is coming to a close. Gregson leading right now is a huge story. When
the 19 cars in the wall over here in the infield. The 9 cars breaking off.
The leader.
Noah Gregson just spun out.
All right, take back when I was
10
in the wall.
10 car.
Ross Chastain into the wall. His windshield wipers work. Haley right now is out front, and we know his windshield wiper doesn't work either.
And remember
raining really hard.
Remember what's on the plate for these guys. It's a playoff berth. They're trying to continue into this round, and now we see Harrison Burton in the 20. At this point, I would say start tiptoeing. Make sure you get to the finish. 7 more laps. Points are going to be awarded.
But he also could win this stage and get a playoff point. That would help him advance also if he gets into the next round.
Yeah, but I'm coaching him the opposite right now. The finish of this stage is the goal, Jeff. I don't want you to push because you can end up like this right here. Another car heavy in the barriers, and this may bring the caution out.
Tommy Joe Martins is stuck in the tire barriers as we see the 6.
Oh, there's a couple cars in the fence over there.
There's
another one in the wall.
Just dove into the fence.
I think they got to throw the yellow here because you got cars sitting there.
Austin Hill
off the racetrack.
Here's the 99 McLaughlin.
You got more cars piling into that area.
I think it's fair to say grip level's low.
Yeah. The caution has come out. You see there, Mills also in the 5.
And there's a car you don't even see in that view.
Also
in the front. Yeah, look at that. There's
the 61.
Right.
It's a disaster.
I've been doing this for a long time, been in this sport for a long time. I've never seen a situation like this. I've never could imagine being a driver where there's so much thrown at you and you have no reference of anything. This is history right here that you're watching.
There's just so much water on the racetrack right now. It's pooling up everywhere. We really don't know where this track holds water, and it's holding water in a lot of little places, little crevices and troughs. As these cars enter and exit on and off of the oval, there's troughs of water all over the place, and these guys are just hydroplaning everywhere. There's so much water so quickly fell in the last 10 minutes.
How slick is it? It's 17 seconds a lap slower in the rain than it was when it was dry. 17 seconds.
So again, Noah Gregson winning the race. He was out front leading, and this happens to him.
And just trying to carry a lot of speed. Again, now on that paint. Once he got on that paint, he was gone. Just no way to gather back up. Then once you get in the grass, obviously that's no grip.
Very little contact there too for Noah Gregson.
Very lucky for that.
Yeah.
Not to have more damage to take him out of the race. Just some light contact with the barrier. Then the 10 car just slightly collects the back of the car there. Also very lucky to come away with very minimal damage. And then this area right here is a real danger, and the reason why we needed to throw the yellow, because more and more cars were going to pile into this.
So Junior, is that just exiting 5 to 6? I'm trying to figure. That's where it is, right? They're losing it into turn 5.
It's a flat entry uphill. Look at that. I mean, there's so much water on the racetrack right now.
Yeah, that right there, that is turn 3.
Now, NASCAR also has told us that they would evaluate when there's too much rain. If there's standing water in certain areas, that would be an issue for them to stop the race. But right now, this seems like the track is draining off in most places, but you do see rooster tails virtually everywhere around the track.
I would say there's a wake behind these cars. There's so much water on the track. It is not running. It's not dry. It's not running off. Look at that water. It's not going away. It's sitting right up on top of this track. It's so recently paved. There's no way for this. It's not porous enough to be able to accept a lot of water. So it rained really quickly. Look at it. It's just pouring down on the racetrack and sitting right on top of the surface. And this isn't like we don't run in the rain a lot. This isn't a tire that's continuously getting developed to improve upon grip for these race cars.
Okay, when the splitter,
when
the splitter sets off the wake, that's definitely standing water.
shooting off of the splitter, the water
When you
here
can literally
at Charlotte.
plow the water with your splitter, I would say it's standing water.
We still got a ways to go in NASCAR to get to where we can run in the rain. You know, when it's damp and wet and we got a drizzle and things like that, it's pretty reasonable. But that was a lot of hard rain.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to race in that condition, though.
Look at well, there's so much water that front chicane. You can see him under caution. How much water was pushing.
Drivers coming to pit road.
So I'm interested in here because the tires are taking off, still look good, and they only have 2 sets. So I wonder if this isn't just a chassis adjustment. Jeff, you know, just say, hey, we can change the air pressure. Maybe now that you've driven it in the rain, this is the end of the tire. Or
a lot of guys are going to
more group.
A lot of guys are going down on pit road trying to repair windshield wipers, and not just you know, look at this car. A lot of teams are having the same issues that the colleagues guys are having.
Put a zip tie on it.
They're making sure that that windshield wiper works, or the best it can. Jesse.
Right now, these drivers are definitely fighting a lot of different issues on the track. You can see the windshield wiper blades, a lot of different things going on right now. Well, you know, as a driver, when you're driving on these slick conditions, in the rain conditions, you got to drive off of the racing line. The reason is because there's a lot of different oils and rubbers and things like that in the regular racing line that affects your driving. So when you come off of the racing line with the wet tires, you have a little bit more grip actually in that water, and it helps keep those tires cool. But right now, it is pouring out here. So where is the line? Is it, where do you move around? What do you do? Junior, with your long career, you've raced in a lot of different conditions. In this kind of situation, what would you do to get the most grip out of these rain tires?
Yeah, what I did race in the rain in the 24 Hours of Daytona twice, and this is a lot of rain, and I don't know that these guys are going to find much grip anywhere, but you got to get offline where we've had a little bit of practice from the IMSA cars here, so there is a little more rubber down on the racetrack. Look at the water pouring into the grate right there. But so wherever the traditional line is, like Jesse said, the rubber sits right on top of that rubber that those race cars put down. So you want to run offline a little bit. But sometimes in the road course you can't. You can't run offline. I mean, there's no way to get through the groove or through the series of corners without crossing back and forth over that groove. So you just have to slow down, like this chicane here on the front straightaway. You have to run through the rubber to get through the corner. You just have to slow down and take your time, patient.
The interesting thing about that, Junior, is this track is so new. It's so new that when I talk to some drivers that have experience with rain, they weren't so sure that you would have to run offline because there hasn't been that much rubber built on up to this racetrack. But that's exactly what we're talking about. No one knows, right? No one knows. Traditionally, if this was an old racetrack, you wouldn't know where to go run. No one knows that here. And they're all learning it in a race, not during practice, not at a test, but in the race.
Conditions are the same for everyone. The problem is 4 drivers will be eliminated after the end of this race if they don't have enough points to advance to the next round.
Oh.
cinnamon bun.
Happy birthday, Dale.
Thank you, Jesse.
Crank up the volume this NASCAR playoffs with the chance to win a 2021 Toyota GR Supra 3.0 Premium. Plus, get access to music playlists curated by your favorite Toyota NASCAR Cup Series drivers. Get started at NASCAR.com/Toyota Playoffs. The official app of NASCAR that delivers an all-new AR racing experience for the playoffs. Search NASCAR in your app store and download for free to start playing today. Well, you wanted to see what the perspective was from the driver's vantage point. Here's Harrison Burton looking out his windshield. And Harrison Burton is second right now in this race.
Yeah, we're definitely car path only, Rick. Lift, clean, in place. I mean, the fairways are slow. I say that, but that's the next concern is we got to get back green. We've seen a lot of accidents. First of all, there's no runoff room. Junior, Jeff, you guys have talked about the infield. There's nowhere to hide. The second part, though, is there is grass. You see the turf here on the front stretch, you might have a chance. But in other pockets, Dave, around the racetrack, if you get in the grass, I'm not sure you'll get out.
And how about the visibility for the spotters? It's kind of down to almost zero. A couple of the playoff drivers chose to pit during that stop because, frankly, they were not in position to get any stage points. So they came to pit road. That included Riley Herbst and Michael Annett, the two lowest cars in the playoffs right now. They have their fresher set of Goodyear rain tires on now, and they should be good to go to the end of stage 2 as Michael Annett comes back onto pit road. They'll top it off with fuel, guys.
I'll go one further, Dave. If it continues to be wet, I think they could go to the end of the race. I mean, we think 35 to 37 laps in the green. Jeff, you talked about it, 17 seconds slower. They're not in the gas at all. I mean, their fuel consumption is wonderful right now. I mean, they're not using any gas to make these laps. Maybe if you had an outboard, you could burn a little bit more gas in this creek.
Dylan.
Yeah, Rick, hey, look at Kaz Grala. He's having a really good day so far, up to 4th. He's kept that 21 car on the racetrack. Take a listen to some radio about another challenge in addition to this weather that Kaz is facing behind the wheel of that race car.
Under low RPM in the dry, but particularly in the wet because the RPMs are lower, the power steering slows down a bit, gets harder to turn at the apex, harder to correct as well in the wet.
The challenges keep piling on for everybody. Junior, are you still sure you want to get out here and run in this conditions with all these challenges going on?
That's fascinating.
What's his birthday? I mean, he can run in the rain, right?
No comment.
He's silent for the first time.
He thought it was a good idea until he saw this.
Yeah.
I think if I had to, I mean, I don't want to run in this race if I'm Harrison Burton, if I'm -7 coming into a cut race.
Right.
But if I got, if Steve, you want to go have some fun, and we want to ride around no pressure, and it don't matter where we finish, I would love this. This would be a blast.
Well, you can see they're doubling up here, so they're giving them the 1 to go signal.
And there will be 2 laps remaining in stage 1. Again, the top 10 in the standings will get points at the end of stage 1 and stage 2. So that's very important, especially for the driver of the 20, Harrison Burton, who came in below the cut line.
I'm a little surprised with their urgency to get back to green here. We got a lot of standing water still down here on the front straightaway in this chicane.
Well, there's a fork
drivers left.
Yeah, the forklift, I think, is probably another one.
Oh, no, here they go. They're cleaning up quick.
They're scrambling.
Something else, guys, as we look at the running order. So you see some names up here you don't normally see. Alex LeBay, they're in that 36 car. Kaz Grala, we know that name, but keep in mind, they are not racing for points. They're here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to win this race. So how do they race around these guys that are indeed racing for points? This is an opportunity for them. They both have experience, a lot of road course experience, and they see this as an opportunity to get a win.
Let's listen in to race leader Justin Haley's radio.
Looking at the radar, man, it's probably going to stay like this for another 20 minutes or so and get heavy after that.
Get heavy? Oh, man. I thought this was heavy.
No, pal. You hadn't seen heavy.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
You know why that's so funny and they're having a good time? Because they won last week. Yeah, last week they won. They're into the next round of the playoffs already. They're just having a good time. To your point, Junior, they're relaxed. They're having fun.
Yep.
Same with Road 2 that we just talked about.
Yeah, back in row 3, Noah Gragson.
So they won't come through this chicane on the front straightaway for the restarts. There is a lot of standing water to the left, all the way down into the braking zone of that particular part of the track when they come back around here.
And for the restart, again, they won't go through this chicane on the front stretch. They'll go back to the restart zone. And Junior just mentioned that. But they are getting ready to head to the Tums Heartburn turn.
And where do you lift here? That's the big question. Just where is your braking zone?
Oh, contact. Noah Gragson. He's trying to make up for that mistake. It cost him a few positions spinning off the racetrack. Went 3 wide there. They all make it, at least right now.
So far,
the Atlanta car, Haley, out of the line.
Haley up.
He might want to be over there, trying to find grip on this racetrack where there is none.
Harrison trying to drive underneath him sideways.
This is where a lot of these guys had that problem earlier.
How aggressive do you race right now? Inside of 2 laps to go in stage 1. Getting ready to come back out on the oval and back up to speed on the banking. They'll enter NASCAR turn 1.
You see them moving up at the top line, feeling like there's more grip there. The 9 on the bottom trying to make it work. This is going to be tough right here. Somebody's got to give.
3 wide. Here comes Harrison Burton.
This is awesome.
The 9 of Gragson to the inside for the lead.
Whoa, man, they're sliding all over the place. Gragson's impressive. I don't know if he'll finish the race, but he's doing a heck of a job right now.
Gragson out front again.
Oh!
Up the racetrack he goes.
Big loose right there running that bottom. Here's where a lot of water is on this racetrack.
Oh, the 20,
Harrison can't turn.
Gotta get off the brakes, gotta get off the brakes. Now he's gonna have to stop.
He has to stop. And this could hurt him huge as far as points.
Go.
Remember, if he finished in the top 10, he would get stage points.
Just saw Chastain passing him. You know he went, oh no, all that work I did, it's all gone.
He's got another lap to go. Out front, Gragson. Now pressure from the 21. Kaz Gralla behind him.
Kaz is doing an amazing job in this 21 car driving up through here. Oh!
Gragson sideways.
Can't get the power down.
And Kaz has a lot of road course experience.
Kaz Gralla, the 3 top 10 finishes already in 4 starts in the Xfinity Series this year. 21-year-old out of Boston, Massachusetts, and he is out front looking to win stage 1, but he's offline, almost into the barriers.
All the standing water is just creating a huge challenge.
The Rooster Tail as they're up to speed down the backstretch. Safely through the backstretch chicane. Gragson sliding behind him. That's Alex LeBay running 3rd right now. But how about Kaz Gralla? Gralla gingerly through the front stretch chicane, and he'll collect his first ever stage win in the Xfinity Series.
Oh, Harrison's going to miss the chicane again.
Yeah, he was side by side with his teammate.
One more stop up here, stop. All right, roll. Save fuel, save.
See if NASCAR feels that was a stop enough.
So a tough last 2 laps for Harrison Burton. He crossed the stripe 16th outside of the points. When the rain came down, it started to pour and the chaos ensued. Stage 1 complete from the Roval. Tomorrow on NBC, Sunday Night Football. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings visit Russell Wilson and the undefeated Seahawks. That coverage beginning with Football Night in America at 7 p.m. Eastern. You are watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series playoffs. Drive for the Cure 250 from the Charlotte Roval. And the rain has been coming down. And Jesse, I know you've got a rain jacket on. You staying dry somewhere?
I'm definitely not staying dry, that's for sure. But it's pouring, but it's cool out here. It's fun. I mean, that's what we do. We come and we race no matter what the conditions are. Well, these pit crew members are dealing with some issues themselves, too. As you can look right here on this pit wall, they're used to jumping onto a dry wall. Obviously, it's wet, but guess what? On top of it, there's paint. Right now, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All these walls are painted pink, but that paint does not mix well with the water. So these pit crew members have to be really careful when they're jumping over the wall. Some of them, you can see in some of their pit stalls, actually have some grip patches so they can actually get grip coming off the wall and have quicker pit stops. So it's all about which pit crew members have actually prepared themselves best by putting that on there, who's going to have the better pit stops today.
I was actually just checking out your outfit, Jesse, to see what kind of preparation you had. I'm impressed. You got the raincoat. I mean, you're looking good down there. The mask is a little damp, though.
I saw an umbrella behind him, but obviously Jesse didn't.
No, I know.
Didn't get the umbrella call.
He's a tougher pit reporter than me because I would be reporting from a tent somewhere. I would definitely find myself some coverage.
Dry.
So this right here looks like a an attempt in something. I don't know how that's
that sounds like
dry.
something my dad would ask me to do to prove a point.
Squeegee, and then it rains right after he gets done completing that. Okay, so we watched the 20 of Harrison Burton with 2 laps to go struggle.
Yeah, he chases the leader in here, just trying to make something happen. He sees that stage win as an opportunity, and once the tires lock up, Jeff, you said it, get off the brakes. He finally does it. It kind of turns. He realizes he's missed it. He pulls to the left. He comes to a complete stop.
Yeah, then it's side by side. This just isn't going to work in these conditions. You just almost got to give the spot up. We saw, Junior, you pointed out early in the race how Harrison was locking the front brakes up like it, maybe a line of front brake. May want to roll a little bit of rear brake into that car.
Yeah, he locked up the front brakes in the first initial.
Well, I was going to say, Junior, I'm actually hearing that I questioned if he came to a stop.
Yeah.
And we're hearing from NASCAR that he didn't come to a stop. I was listening to the radio.
That 18 just forced me to go through the damn puddle, man. I got you. Dude.
So we were talking about the rain, the water stacking up on the left side, driver's left, going into that chicane. That's where the 18 car had him positioned on the racetrack. And had a lot of trouble there, Dave.
Ross Chastain, a little bit of damage on the right rear of that 10 car, but 5 stage points that run. So that's important for the driver who came in on the cut line, Dylan.
And taking a look at Alex LeBay as he runs in that 3rd spot. How about a good run for him going? He's got a lot of road course experience from his native Canada, knows what he has to do, knows how to do the job in the wet as well. A little bit of a slower pit stop here as they put right side tires on, but Alex LeBay having a really, really solid day so far. A great opportunity for him.
So points earned this stage. We mentioned that you get points finishing in the top 10. The names that are in yellow, they are part of the playoffs. And so they are going to be garnering those points, hopefully using them to advance. Ross Chastain was one who was right above the cut line coming in to this race. He gained 5 points. The guy who was below it was Harrison Burton, and he finished outside of the top 10, so he won't get any of the points here from stage 1.
So we showed, unfortunately, we're picking on Harrison because he's missed the corner twice, but the second time was more painful because he drives in here with his teammate, which we heard on the radio. He kind of has to go straight. We've seen everybody miss corners, but really that mistake I'm okay with. This is a mistake a 20-year-old driver can't make. The rule is you must stop. Rolled, car never came to a complete stop. So now you're going to add a penalty on top of the mistake. The 20 will start tail end of the field in a chaotic, rain-filled race. It puts him in a really tough position. We already missed points in the first stage, right? And now he's going to have to start at the tail end and just putting himself behind. Like I said, look, it's easy to miss a corner. Everybody's done. Well, not everybody, but what, half the field's done it. But you just got to take your penalty, right? You have to come to a stop.
NASCAR trying to remove as much water from that chicane on the front stretch as they can. It seems to be the worst problem on the racetrack as far as standing water. There are some other areas that are challenging, but that one in particular, the water is pooling up in the grass off to the left of that chicane, draining off of some drains there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to end up in there, do you, Jim?
Yeah, just the water has nowhere to go. All this water is running basically off of the oval down onto this particular area of the racetrack and sitting here right where the drivers are in the braking zones. They're all having to enter that corner offline. Dylan, you got something on the 9?
Junior, so we saw Noah spin from the lead. He's recovered to second, but take a listen to what they're battling now.
Your key, your mic or your button is sticking, Noah, or is wet. Don't push it for a minute. Can you hear me? Yes, we hear you now.
Noah, your button, don't push it.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Don't push it and immediately. Can you hear me?
I don't know if that was funny or it could be wet. Could.
Yeah, there's a possibility. Well, Noah Gragson does clinch a spot in the round of 8 with the amount of points that he was able to earn in that first stage. And stage 2 is now underway. Win and you advance if you're a part of the playoffs, and not be in the bottom 4 in points at the end of this race, and you advance.
And all these cars are now all together, and the visibility is going to be worse. It's going to be much worse now.
So much harder to find your braking points. That's Brandon Brown in the 68. He said that Talladega was his race, that he thought that's how he could advance into the next round. Well, it didn't happen, and now he's got to do something here at the Roval if he wants to make it into the next round.
He's currently doing it. You see on the left side of your screen, +0 right on the cut line. He's putting the pressure on both Ross Chastain in the 10, the 18 of Riley Herbst. You see Harrison all the way back there in 11th with that penalty. There's Riley Herbst in the 18 doing a little, I don't know if it's on purpose or inadvertent shoving. Either way, he's putting the pressure on the 92.
There's Noah Gragson working his way up front.
I can't imagine this. We've all driven in the interstate, you know, in a car with great windshield wipers when it rains so hard you can't see where you're going. Everybody puts their flashes on. You almost try to make sure you're in the lane by looking to the left, making sure you see the line or the dotted line. You have to ask yourself, drivers, if these guys are trying to find other marks than outside the windshield. You know, Jeff, are there peripheral marks they're seeing in their braking zones?
Yeah, I think the visibility is so bad, it's hard to find something consistently. You know, it's hard to always know you're going to look up and see a braking zone.
Big run here by Brandon Brown.
Man, he's going to dive it down in there. Is he going to be able to make the chicane? No. Neither is Kaz Gralla, the 21.
Neither is the 18 and the 18. That'll be a tough call.
He kept his, it looked like he kept his right sides on the red and white.
So just to confirm, the rule is the corner is defined by the red and white curbing. All 4 tires on the non-track side, you have missed the corner. You mentioned the right sides. If the right side tires stayed on the curbing, then even though 90% of your car didn't make it,
oh, the 16's having trouble.
That's A.J. Allmendinger.
A.J. Allmendinger might have made some contact with the wall. It's very slow coming out of turn 1. He looks pretty good on the right side of that car. He was almost dead stopped.
He just lost it.
Or even got spun around there. I'm not sure exactly what happened in turn 1, but I looked up and he was almost stopped.
There are cars, by the way, on the track there.
It's crystal clear.
Wow. It is raining hard, and they're racing.
So I'm just going to ask this question because we kind of talked about it. Is it okay to really like this, Junior? Because I know the teams perhaps aren't, but this is entertaining.
Yes. I feel bad for liking it. I think I'm not supposed to. It's been a lot of fun to watch. These guys I just like to see the drivers be challenged. And I can't imagine anything more difficult than what they're doing right now. And I know the NASCAR guys, the Cup guys, I know the Cup guys are paying attention to this thinking, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not want none of this.
90% chance of rain tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Allmendinger's not working.
Not working.
The windshield wiper, Rick, is there for, you know, just encouragement only.
Colleague Racing is going to look at this and say, you know what, that's one thing we might want to focus on when we know it's going to rain. Because all 3 of their cars are having issues with the windshield wiper. Look at this run by Kaz Gralla in the 21, going to the outside of Brandon Brown.
Yeah, the side-by-side. We saw it before. Going to have to really get slowed up in that outside lane. So much water.
It's crazy how much water sits down there. They keep, I mean, we got cars going around the racetrack, and it's not getting the water off of the racetrack. It's like there's more water each time they come through there.
So Chase Briscoe in the 98 has also gotten by Brandon Brown. Here's that first chicane. Take a look at this move. Gregson just having a hard time slowing down, but Brandon Brown couldn't slow down. Shot right through. He had to stop. 21 did the same thing.
Okay, here's the 16 car. What happened to him over there? Just did a quick spin.
Little pirouette.
No contact. Didn't even stop. Come to a stop there.
Joey Chitwood stunt driving style. That was impressive.
I was listening to Around and Around.
Oh, we got another car in the wall over here. Stopped on the racetrack out of turn 1, the 17.
Cody Ware able to get going once again.
He too doesn't seem to have made contact with anything.
Which is shocking as narrow as that part of the racetrack is.
I know. There's walls everywhere over there.
You see Justin Auger on that bright orange or red 7 right behind him. Myatt Snyder. Myatt has some rain experience. Remember, he drove in the Euro Series, which is comprised mostly of road courses, and he has run in some rain races there. Not sure how much it translates.
Wow. Oh, yeah, trying to get to the gas there, got sideways.
That got us a battle for the lead here. Riley Herbst driving up on the 9 car of Gregson here, coming through the final couple corners onto the front straightaway to the flag stand. This 18 car is hustling around this racetrack.
He's pretty much in a must-win situation. I say that. In today's race, anything could happen. He could gain enough points, but came in far enough behind where it kind of needs to win this race.
Let's see if he can get position on Noah. It's going to be tough to do it through this technical part of this infield. Oh, he gets in the back of Noah.
And Noah around.
All right, he just turned you.
And into the tire barriers. Let's see if he's able to keep going.
A couple guys coming behind you.
Remember, these guys had some issues at Texas earlier this year. That's a great
Bad
point.
blood between those two guys, and I talked to Dave Rogers, crew chief of the 18 this morning. He said, you know what, if anybody roughs you up, you have your orders. Remember earlier on an oval this year, I think it was Kansas or something like that, Noah basically was aggressive with the 18 and took him out of the race.
So the caution has come out. Nose damage on the 9 of Gregson from hitting that tire barrier. Remember, Gregson, though, has enough points. He's advanced to the round of 8, but I'm sure the frustration level is high because he was just punted.
Well, I mean, we have to look at the replay to see exactly what happened. That was a bit of a braking zone as they're down, you know, they're slowing down to come into a bend, 2 left-hand corners. Let's kind of see if we, I mean, I don't even know if we'll be able to tell exactly what happened there.
You saw the 18 car wiggle a little bit, and then he got into the back of Noah. And listen, these conditions are tough. I mean, clearly contact. There's no denying it, but I have a hard time saying that, Riley did that on purpose. These conditions, guys, are really, really difficult, and they've never experienced it before. Riley's never been to this track, much less in these conditions. I know things can look on purpose and intentional, but we're going to have to give people the benefit of the doubt today.
Well, I'm not saying it was on purpose, but I'm not sure he's going to feel bad either, because this was early. The first couple laps at Texas, Noah Gregson right on the rear bumper of the 18. Same situation, Jeff. I don't think he went in there saying, hey, I'm going to wreck Riley Herbst, but he cut him no slack. He was inches off his bumper, and either the air and the contact or the combination turned Riley Herbst around. Both made comments after. Riley was very disappointed. He felt like he deserved a couple sets of corners to figure out that track. So I'm not saying Riley wrecked the 9, but he definitely didn't drive into that corner, leaving him an extra car length.
Well, let's be clear. You also can use the rain as an excuse.
That
can work too.
It was slippery. I didn't mean to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
I didn't even see you up there. Well, the caution has come out. We'll line them back up, and yeah, they'll be diving back into the Tums heartburn turn on the restart. It was 3 wide for the lead. Right now, Riley Herbst out front at Charlotte. NASCAR on NBC is brought to you by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR. Perfect for race fans. NASCAR Drive, that's your live race day companion. You can follow your favorite drivers with high-definition in-car cameras. Visit NASCAR.com/drive or download the mobile app today.
Okay, serious question then, guys. Serious question. After this so far today, how y'all feeling about your fantasy lineup for tomorrow?
Oh, my goodness.
Just wondering.
That's a good question. I think it changes everything.
Well, one thing that changed everything was the 18 getting into the back of the 9. Dylan, how did Noah Gragson respond to that?
Well, as you'd imagine, Rick, he was not very happy, and he is down on pit road now. Crew Chief Dave Ellen just kind of instructing these guys, the crew guys, to shave off that right front fender and just make sure it's not cutting into the tire. So you see them doing that now. They're going to check and make sure there's not any bars from the frame or anything down there that's going to impede the progress of the tire. So just a little bit of precautionary work right now on the 9 and Noah Gragson. Kaz Gralla as well on the right of your screen. He also had a right front damage. We saw that the tire looked like was a little bit wobbly, so maybe some damage there, more severe than just cosmetic, but you see them going to work on the right front of Gralla's car as well. So fenders are getting bent, tempers are getting hurt out here. This is a lot of fun in the rain, guys.
You know something else I'm just thinking, Dylan, as I look down here, no one's putting any tape on because I doubt you're going to get it to stick.
It's not going to stick.
Oh, that was not what that was unfortunate.
Might want to cut some fender away to give the water somewhere to go. Cut it off.
I know somebody that cut a right front fender off at Martinsville and flew the rest of the day.
Very fast.
Very fast.
Keep that tires cool.
Oh, I love this move right here.
So now
I should have patented that move. Oh, wait, you
dropping
got to use a stronger block than that, though, if you're going to do it.
Bent the handle.
Yeah, I think they would have done well to do that to the right front of Noah's car. The splitter on that car is bent down to the ground.
One advantage is they're going so slow. I don't know about the travel. I mean, yeah, I don't. How do you measure any of this stuff?
So you see the jet dryers, they're trying to dry it below the standing water off the racetrack. They brought in 7 jet dryers. It's far away from New Hampshire. They have 4 Air Titans here trying to anticipate standing water. Just try to get it off of the racetrack under cautions.
Yeah, when they have an event where there's about to be guaranteed rain, when there's absolutely going to be rain in the forecast, they will ship in these jet dryers and all these different pieces of machinery from all over the series, from all these different racetracks to try to be ready for this, to be able to attempt to keep this track raceable.
This seems like a losing battle right here, though.
Yeah, that particular part of the track down in the final couple corners, front stretch chicanes, giving the drivers a lot of trouble, giving these machines some trouble. I think the water there is here to stay.
Yeah, something that the Charlotte Motor Speedway can look at, after having this race. They can go back and analyze where to get a little bit of drainage, how to get it to get off the racetrack.
And look at this. Car trying to get through while they're doing this cleaning up. While we got a little break in the action here, let's go to Dave.
And guys, I want to tell you a story about a young man named Tyler Parker. He's on the passenger side door of Brandon Brown's car. That's the other side today, riding with him. He died in March at age 27. His uncle Gordy runs the marketing and PR for this team, and he put his name above the door so that he could be remembered. He never spoke a word. He's a disabled young man from right here in Charlotte. He was ever happy, ever smiling, and as parents with special needs children know, yes, quite a bit of drooling, and bandanas was his thing. He had hundreds of bandanas. There's the name over the passenger side door right there. And wearing one before the race today was driver Brandon Brown. There he is shown in that bandana. At his funeral in March, this was before the shutdown, over 300 people came to say, "We love Tyler Parker. We appreciated him and the spirit that he had." And they all received bandanas, washed and pressed, but they thought they were just going to display them. Then when the pandemic hit and you couldn't find a mask and you had to have your own face covering, they texted Mom and Dad, Laura and Dave, and said, "You know what? We're using Tyler's bandanas for our face covering." So even in death, Tyler Parker helped in the pandemic. And yet he never spoke a word, Rick. Just think what we could do with all of our words.
Yeah, riding with Brandon Brown. And Brandon Brown obviously making him proud with what we've seen out of him today. Family has to be appreciative of what that team is doing. Right now, these teams all thinking about getting to the end of stage 2, but also the end of this race. There's only 11 laps to go in stage 2. Jesse.
Only 11 laps left to go, but these drivers and these teams are thinking about their strategy. So I was over here next to the 19 team, and I wanted to check out these tires and see how do these rain tires, check out after about 20 laps of racing. And after we looked at them, we could actually tell that they weren't really chunking up like we were thinking originally. We were thinking originally, if you got on any bit of dry surface or anything like that, it'll start chunking up in the middle, maybe on the outsides, but actually it didn't chunk up at all. And that's probably because it's pouring out here. So what these teams are doing, they're actually prepping these old tires and getting them ready so they can use them at the end of the race if necessary. All these old rain tires are actually getting prepared. You actually see the lug nuts all glued in, they're ready to go, so maybe they'll have to use them in the last few laps. We'll have to see.
Jesse, my man, you found yourself a tent.
I'm
impressed.
That too.
I'm impressed.
Great move.
Absolutely, great move.
And the work continuing on the 9 of Noah Gragson. Again, he was up front. He's been battling with the 18. Everyone's battling the rain.
Well, guys, this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series will kick their playoffs off and continue here at the Roval.
Will there be rain?
No, good weather for the iRacing guys. It's some of the best iRacers in the country. They're in their playoffs. It is going to be a blast. The pressure's on. Can they advance to their final championship race? You can log on to enascar.com for complete coverage. I'll be helping call the action. Now, you could turn the rain on in the game, but it's going to be in the dry, unlike this radar.
Steve, it's not a game, it's a simulation.
My apologies. Okay, let me rephrase that. You can turn the rain on in the simulation, but no thank you.
And the serious nature of which you proclaimed that. So the rain is coming down so hard now that those jet dryers that we saw that were trying to push away the standing water, they just can't keep up. And we're hearing from NASCAR that this field is going to be brought down pit road, and there's a good chance that they're going to stop them and red flag it until they can get the standing water off of the track.
I'm not sure of the strategy for that other than to hope it stops raining.
We experienced this, was it 2 years ago at the
I've already erased
Daytona
that Rolex trip.
Rolex 24 hours?
I've erased it.
Steve, that was a good time.
It was a good time. Here's the problem. We stayed up most of the night. We woke up in the morning ready to see some racing, and there was no racing.
Yeah, I remember the section from, I believe it was around midnight to 3 a.m. or so that we were calling, and it was raining so hard.
The we was definitely not me on that one.
You may have been sleeping, but that was interesting to watch.
Well, it's funny you say that. The IMSA cars are here as well. They have a race later today.
Yeah, you see the rain rolling off.
Oh boy!
The tents and the few fans that are in attendance. Some are diehards saying, "You know what? We haven't been able to go to races. Let's keep going. We want to watch."
They're getting full experience.
Yes.
So I know we have showed all the missed corners and the accidents because that's the highlight reel. But I'm really impressed I mean, it has been pouring, and the majority of these drivers have found a way to continue to make laps. The cars are continuing to run, right? With the water going in wherever it's going, no electronic issues, no fueling issues.
Remember that drain we showed you earlier?
It was amazing.
It's there's a lot of water right now that it's trying to get rid of. There might be the next. Is that Petty Blue? It looks Petty Blue to me.
That's the leader.
That is in the grandstands?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You didn't bring your boat?
Yeah.
With just the idea that it could become useful.
Why?
I think that's how Rick got here.
Well, tomorrow on NBC, it's the Cup's turn. Yes, it's an elimination race, and it's right here at the Charlotte Roval at Green Flag at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Coverage on NBC will begin at 2 o'clock. You won't want to miss it because the last time the Cup Series raced in the rain was in the 50s. Steve, that was a little bit before you were born. The 1950s.
I'm trying to bite my tongue for all the smart comments I have for the rest of my booth mates.
The red flag has just come out. I'll let you sit on that for a little bit. The big news that has happened in NASCAR over the last couple weeks has been the forming of a super team, at least by two superstar athletes, Denny Hamlin from the Cup Series and Michael Jordan. And here's what Jordan had to say about joining up with Denny.
This kind of presented itself within the last couple of weeks. I did have conversations with Brad Daugherty, about stock car racing and, things that he had interest in. I knew Larry Nance was in drag racing, for some time. So, the appetite has been there, but the opportunity's never been there. This is a great opportunity, and I just feel like this is a good time to make this thing happen.
So we mentioned that team being formed. There's so many things happening. The movement right now in the Cup Series. Jimmy Johnson is retiring. We know Ross Chastain's going to be in the 42 for Chip Ganassi Racing. Just announced was Clint Boyer retiring. He'll move into the broadcast booth for Fox Sports. Alex Bowman, he'll move to the 48, but that opens up the 88, or at least another seat at Hendrick Motorsports. Christopher Bell is going to move to the 20 in Joe Gibbs Racing. Matt DiBenedetto said he'll be back at the 21 Wood Brothers. We mentioned Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan forming a team. Well, Bubba Wallace is going to be the driver for that team. And Daniel Suarez is going to be driving the 99. Justin Marks announced that he will be starting a team as well. So with all of the driver movement that's taking place in the Xfinity Series, we know Austin Cindric is going to be back, but he has already been tagged for 2022 that he will be moving to the Cup Series. What about Chase Briscoe? Now with this announcement by Clint Boyer, a Ford seat has opened up, and Chase Briscoe is a Ford driver. Would he be high on the list as far as maybe filling that seat for Stewart-Haas Racing?
Oh, I'm sure he's on the list and they're having discussions. I will tell you, though, I love the move by the 21 of giving Cindric another year in the Xfinity Series. Jeff, you mentioned the variety of racetracks and some of the new road courses. Well, the other thing to keep in mind is the Cup car will have a brand new race car in 22. So I'm of the opinion there's no need to push a driver up to have him try to learn a new series, to drive an old car, to learn a new car the next year. I think that's going to do Cindric quite well to stay in the Xfinity Series. I wonder if the same strategy would work for Briscoe, but as you point out, with Boyer leaving, it might open up a seat they're going to have to fill. And Clint, if you're watching, this is called rain fill. This is what you do on television when there are no cars on the racetrack.
He's pretty good at it.
Oh, yeah, he is. I think he's one of the few that gets more words per minute than me.
Yeah. There are only a few. There's Noah Gragson walking away from the number 9 car.
He's headed down toward the 18 car.
You'd think there would be words exchanged on
I think
pit
the
road
fact
here?
that he's not walking with an umbrella and it's pouring down rain means he's on a mission somewhere.
Somebody's getting his attention now. Nope. What always happens is the driver always says, no, I just want to go talk. That's all. I just want to talk.
And take big guys with you.
Well, you don't ever know what's going on. You know what I mean? If he wants to go have a conversation or not.
That was the driver of the 18. We saw Riley just jogging, looking for cover, it looked like.
Rain's really letting up.
Really? I don't think the heavy stuff will be down for quite some time. I'd keep playing.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a crew chief of one of those playoff cars on the Cup Series, watching what's gone on so far. The forecast tomorrow is much of the same, passing showers.
At what point can we get back on the track? They mentioned, NASCAR has mentioned standing water is one of their biggest issues, and right now with it raining as hard as it is, it's tough to keep up.
So I'll be honest, Rick, I didn't think we would have saw a green flag a run ago because the conditions were, I don't know if I'm going to call them the same, but there was standing water at that point. Jeff, I think is fair to say. It's definitely raining harder now. Without the cars on the racetrack, the water puddling only becomes worse, even with the jet blowers. So I think we're going to have to get a little reprieve from the skies to try to get the track a little bit drier.
See Riley walking, trying to keep his feet from getting wet, trying to just walk on his heels rather than get his feet in the puddles. That's something that, drivers hate wet feet.
He's going to climb back in the car. That's probably not a bad idea.
Stay dry there.
Get in there and sleep.
It sounds like there's experience in that comment.
Well, the car's nice and warm.
It is nice in there.
Seats handmade to you.
Listen to those.
Custom made.
Listen, it's nice in there on a day like today. If it was 90 degrees, he wouldn't be getting in that race car. He'd find somewhere else to go. But on a day like today, it's a good place to be.
So we mentioned racing in the rain. We've seen it. We have raced in the rain up to this point. The rain has come down so hard now that it is puddling and it is standing. Race isn't official. Have not reached the halfway point yet. Very close to it, though. So next Saturday, the NASCAR Xfinity Series is going to head to Kansas. That'll be the first race of the round of 8. And that's the first chance for one driver to lock a position in for the championship for that race coverage at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. Take a look at the playoff leaderboard. And Noah Gregson's name now is in yellow because of points. He is going to advance into the round of 8. So Briscoe and Haley have won races. And this one's still to be determined. If you win and you're one of these 12 names, you automatically advance to the round of 8. But again, if you're below that cutoff line where Ross Chastain, Harrison Burton, Brandon Brown, and Michael Annett are right now, potentially you could be eliminated and your chance of that championship goes away. So we have already seen an amazing 30 laps of racing here at Charlotte. When the rain does let up just a little bit and allows these cars to get back out there, how aggressive do you think these drivers will be, Junior?
I mean, they're kind of limited. Their hands are tied really to the track surface and how wet it is and where all the water goes. I mean, you know, this track's got water standing all over it. NASCAR's going to try to do their best to fix that issue if we can get the rain to let up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, these guys aren't racing each other. They're not racing. I mean, they are running into each other a little bit, but they're not racing each other. They're racing the racetrack. Kind of like when you go to Darlington and you try to conserve your tires and you race the track instead of the competition. I think that's what they're doing out here on this track while it's wet, is just trying to learn how to get around it safely and as fast as possible. And there'll be more of that. I think with the weather setting in this weekend, we're going to have wet racetracks. These guys, there's not going to be a dry racetrack for these guys to race on. I think we're going to have conditions wet and rain throughout the next couple of days. Just how bad it'll be, I don't know. And I don't know if it will let up and give us an opportunity to, to get these cars back on the track. It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's easy to say you're racing a racetrack, but you think about Ryan Sieg came into this race thinking if he just had a steady race, didn't have any problems, he'd be okay. Well, he's sitting there right now tied with Ross Chastain. So Ross Chastain kind of the same way. He came in with an advantage. Well, if anything can happen. So these guys that thought they just needed calm, smooth races, all of a sudden get themselves in a position where they have to gain points. They have to change a strategy. And then you have to go attack on a racetrack that if you attack, you're going to get yourself in trouble. So I think situational awareness is going to be really important right here, understanding what you need to be doing, what you're not needed to be doing. But, this is going to put drivers, because they're trying to get into the next round of play in the playoffs, in a very difficult situation where you're going to have to adapt and decide how aggressive you can be or how calm you need to be.
The word I was wondering what you had said earlier was steady. You said now calm, smooth, safe as far as racing this racetrack and those drivers trying to do that. We saw not so much smooth, steady, and safe out of the 18 of Riley Herbst earlier when he got into the back of the 9. Let's hear from Riley. He is with Dave.
Well, he's kind of with me, Rick, and as you can see, I don't think the heavy stuff will be here anytime soon. So here's how we do it now. He said that's Riley's hand. Riley's in the race car right now, and we'll use the other mic, of course, distancing here. Riley, first of all, we got to ask you, was Texas on your mind when you were racing Noah Gragson pretty tight there on the infield part of the road course?
Yeah, I don't really know. We have a really fast Monster Energy Supra. That's all I know. I know I'm 100-odd million points out of the playoff bubble, so we're here to win. I hope we can all put on our shoes, driving shoes, and go out driving right now. This is perfect racing conditions. I'm having a blast. This Monster Energy Supra is handling great, and I don't know, hopefully we can lock into the round of 8.
Dry racing shoes, we hope, because you're staying inside the race car there.
Yes.
What about that strategy by Dave to call you in? You weren't going to get stage points, so you pitted early. Has he told you can make it to the end now and try to keep this thing out in front?
Yeah, there's no reason to get stage points. Like I said, we're a million points out. The only points that matter is the checkered flag. So that's our goal today. We know we can win this race. We're in position to win this race, and now we got 30-some-odd laps to go do it.
All right, Riley Herbst, he's at the front of the grid now, leading this race as it is under a red flag condition. Dylan?
And Dave, we've caught up with the other player in that story, if you will, trying to find some shelter here under Noah Gregson's pit box. So the contact with the 18, what was your take on it, Noah?
It's just racing, I guess. I don't get really mad. I get even, so it'll be all right. Maybe one day down the road. But that's not the point. Our Lionel Racing Camaro is really fast, and it's so much fun racing in the rain here. It seems like it's different every lap, like a dirt track. I feel like Briscoe or Christopher Bell or someone like that who's wheeling it on dirt just because the track's different every lap. But no, I think we have a lot of speed right now. We're in the back of the pack for pitting for some fuel there, but the car looks really good, and I think we can come back and win this thing.
Well, we've talked a lot on the broadcast just about how challenging it looks. From your seat, I mean, having to follow guys, what is the biggest challenge of all that has been thrown at you guys today?
I'd say the puddles or the standing water is the hardest part because especially in this last chicane, 15, 16, whatever the corners are, there's a lot of standing water, and the brakes will lock up and then it'll hydroplane and then they'll get grip and then it'll roll, and it's just all over the place, but it's really challenging. I'm just really running my pace right now. I already wrecked it in turn 5 by myself, so I've seen a lot of guys under the tire barriers and stuff, so I've just been running my pace, but super thankful for everybody who supports this number 9 team. And we still, I don't know, we're only 30 laps in. I know it feels like we have a whole race under our belt, but we'll be all right. I'm excited to go for the win today in this Lionel Camaro and maybe crunch some teeth later at Waffle House or something.
All right, 9 car definitely fast, and we know Noah's not afraid to mix it up and do what he has to do to get back up front.
Crunch some teeth? Yeah, he said
that on the menu?
He doesn't get mad, he gets even. Interesting comments coming from Noah Gragson there. The other side of the Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson, I guess, incident we saw on the racetrack. On the other side of the break, we'll talk with Matt DiBenedetto. There he is.
Anytime the drivers are stressed out or don't like something, usually the fans love it.
These are big curveballs for these pros to try to navigate.
2 years in a row, the race leader has dove into turn number 1 and slammed into the wall.
I guess all of us are just stupid, don't know where to brake for the corner. We just drove off into a 90-degree wall for something to do because we had nothing else better to do.
The leaders are wrecking.
Ryan Blaney will win!
No gimmicks, no strategy. He drives all the way through the field, passing every car on the racetrack. Hell yeah, let's go!
And I'm sure the Cup drivers cannot wait for tomorrow. This is the schedule. NASCAR America pre-race show on NBCSN. Then countdown to green at 1:30. 2 o'clock on NBC. Make sure to tune in. That will be the elimination race for the Cup Series. And we'd like to welcome in now from the dryness of his home, Matt DiBenedetto, the driver of the number 21 Wood Brothers entry. And congratulations. I want to start off by just saying great to see that you have re-signed your contract with them for next year. So that has to be a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, that's for sure. Thanks, Rick. It's quite the relief. I feel good. We're having a good time at home. Stress-free, getting ready to have a good finish out to the season, and then obviously enjoying some fun watching from the dryness of our home, watching these guys play around in the rain.
Hey, Matt, it's Dale Jr. With that announcement, although it is great that you're going to be in this car for another year, you know that you can't race for an extension in that ride because it's going to go to another driver. So talk to me about that. Tell me and all your fans what kind of mindset you have to take into next year to continue your career beyond driving for the Wood Brothers.
You know, it's just cool that I have the opportunity to keep building on what we started with the 21 team, because I know that our performance is just getting started. We're really starting to click as a team. So I know those, last 2 weeks in a row, we contend for wins. And there's the best is definitely yet to come. So I feel really good about that. But that's what, that's all we need to do. And I had so much support from all the parties involved, from the Wood Brothers, of course, and from Ford, Team Penske, everybody. And, having that support from them means a lot. And then looking long term, and even like they said, when I have the opportunity to go out there and perform and run up front and win races like I know we can do, then as you know, Junior, that the rest kind of takes care of itself. And I think there'll be some great opportunities for us moving forward by having this.
So, Matt, it's Jeff Burton. I'm curious, I've been in this situation before. The stress that's involved in those decisions is really high. Have you been managing that? And then also, was that some of the emotion that we saw last week after the Talladega finish?
Yeah, man, Jeff, we managed the stress really great by, my wife, Taylor, crying when all this was going on and with the uncertainty. She would cry pretty much every day. So I feel like that was a great way to cope with it. My parents would be freaking out and maybe in tears sometimes and try not to show it. So we handled the stress really well, as you can see. But no, it's all joking aside, it's so well worth it, in the long run. And all these stressful situations and all are what make you appreciate it more. But that is where that emotion came, after Talladega. Just another one of those situations where I get out of the car and I just don't even know how to feel because of the tough situation times. But so glad that it all worked out, and we have a lot of great things we're going to accomplish together.
Well, man, it's good. This is Letard here. Good to see you can be at great spirits now. Once again, what Rick said, congratulations on the contract extension. I want to talk about those close finishes. You were so close at Bristol, close a week ago at Talladega. Explain to the fans, I know it's disappointing to not win, but what you learned from those. I know running up front, the top 2, top 3 at the closing laps is different than anywhere else in the race. What can you take away, even though it didn't shake out your way, what can you take away from races like last week?
Yeah, a lot. In Vegas, we were up there leading and battling with Kurt Busch for the win, and then we go to Talladega, and obviously so dang close there. But if you keep putting yourself in position and being in those positions to win the races, surely with the strength of our team and how we've gotten better, we're clicking. I'm telling you, we as a team, me, my crew chief Craig Irwin, my spotter Doug, I feel it where we're clicking and meshing, just like kind of how my team did with the 95 as we progressed together. So those wins will come, and we're learning from it, getting better. And I kind of relate it to like, I saw Chase Elliott in the early part of his career, had a lot of close runs and those second place finishes and was right there. And then when it all clicked, he's right there, and a lot of wins fell his way. And I know they'll come our way too. We have a great team.
Matt, I know the fans really appreciated kind of the way that you right now are in the ride that you're in. You gambled on yourself. You said, I'm going to step away from the team I'm at, and I want to ride in great equipment. I want to challenge for wins. And we saw your emotion at the end of the race last week. And I made some comment about the fact that, you had so much stress on your shoulders. The fans' support that you have, you're really the working man's fan. And I think, do you use that almost as strength to continue on? Because you have really become an amazing fan favorite in the Cup Series.
Man, it's so overwhelming, Rick, to have that support. The fans have been a bigger part of this journey than I think they even possibly realize. Their support is a big reason of why I am where I am today. Me joining forces with the Wood brothers and their fan base, it's a pretty dang strong, relationship that we have with the fans, and it's unbelievable. It's not like we have some tactic or anything. I just have had a crazy journey to get here that's made me really appreciative, and it's neat that the fans have so much positive response and emotion invested in this along this journey with us. So I'm telling you, that really goes into and weighs into some of the decision making, into things like me being able to drive the 21 car, and it's really absolutely incredible for my career. So I can't wait till the day comes where we get the 100th win for the Wood brothers, and we get to celebrate that with family and friends, and then of course, most importantly, all the fans.
All right, Matt, so great news this week, but now you got to come over here to the Roval and deal with everything that you've been watching in this race. What scares you the most about what you've been watching, and does any of that excite you coming over here tomorrow?
Man, Jeff, you're going to call me crazy. Probably everybody will. My wife was just a minute ago. We were talking about the race, and I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think it's fun. I think it's easy for me to say, we're not in the playoffs, unfortunately, because we had a tough first round, but we get to go out there and we're just going for wins. And I watch it and I'm like, yeah, is it a mess? For sure. But is it, I kind of relate it to like, I'll go to our local go-kart track, GoPro Motorplex. If it's raining, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to go out there because it's a mess and it's a lot of fun. This is at a much more serious level. Obviously, we have a lot on the line, but you kind of got to look at the positives of the situation and the fun of it. And also from a driver perspective, maybe your discipline. I feel like I have, after my years in the sport, become very disciplined, and that can come into play when you got this many variables and all that craziness on the racetrack, where you can try and focus on staying on track and being disciplined all day. Although there's a lot of other cars and drivers on the racetrack too that'll be sliding around that can end your day. But I think it could be a lot of fun.
Well, Matt, we really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. We know that you're cheering for A.J. Allmendinger. We know that you guys have a strong friendship. So keep cheering for him. And we have 37 laps of racing to go. But we appreciate you joining us. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
So drivers trying to stay dry and track workers trying to get the standing water off the track. We're seeing a few more drivers make their way to the cars. continuing to clear the standing water off of the track here at Charlotte Motor Speedway and the Charlotte Roval. And Dave, I believe you caught up with Ross Chastain now.
Well, I think so, Rick, but we always have to make an actual determination if we did catch up with Ross. Oh, yep, there he is. Hey, man, you got a lot of things going on in there, switching out radios, all that kind of stuff. How confident are you that this 10 car can stay running up front to the end here? You're right on the cut line as it stands.
Oh, I'm not sure, Dave. Looking out the windshield reminds me of growing up racing late models. I had Randy Fox, the greatest race car driver I've ever raced against, tell me one time if he bought me a windshield, maybe I'd quit running into him. And I can't see much farther than that. So it's reminded me of my early years, but well, I keep it on track, don't hydroplane. Man, this is just like South Florida right now. The fall watermelon crop down there is been flooded several times, so my family's been fighting that, and I'll fight this today, and we'll all keep fighting as farmers and race car drivers. And I don't know, man. It's really weird doing an interview from in here.
Yeah, I believe it. I was thinking this was fantastic watermelon weather, so you confirmed that.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not. We need less rain.
No.
We need to harvest, right?
No, we're getting flooded in Florida, and we're getting flooded in Charlotte. It's not good for either of us.
All right, but as far as racing goes on the Roval in the rain, any tips you can give the guys who have to go tomorrow as well?
Whew. I don't know. No, there's nothing good about this, especially with the rivers flowing across a couple of the turns. We're all hydroplaning, especially the lead car. So fortunate for me, I'm slow, and they lead and they hydroplane first, and I can see it and I can slow down.
Take anything you can get. Very challenging right now. Thanks, Ross. Let's go to Dylan.
And Dave, the guy that Ross is battling in the playoff battle is Ryan Sieg. So, Ryan, I know that the road courses present their own unique challenges for you, but what about this? Is this like anything you've ever seen before?
No, nothing at all. It's tough. You can't see. I can't see the hood of the car going on the oval on the backstretch, but I was hoping we'd just keep going, at least get this thing done. I can get through some puddles, but it's pretty fun. Definitely challenging, but we're loving it right now. So hopefully we'll just finish it out and have a good day in our CMR Chevrolet.
Well, and the first two races of this round were obviously really strong for you guys. What do you have to do today just to keep yourself in position to advance to the next round?
Just finish the race, stay on the blacktop all day, and get a decent finish, and we should be good to go to the next round.
It's as simple as that, right, Rick? That's all Ryan Sieg's got to do today. Just keep this thing on the racetrack, and they're on to the round of 8.
As simple as that. I'm not sure anything has been simple for anyone today. As we have seen already, race leaders, they have wrecked on their own after the rain came and the track got slick. We're going to stay with you here on NBC until 5:55, and the magic number there, 5:55. We will switch to CNBC for the conclusion of this race. Now, the drivers have been called into their cars, so they're getting strapped in, ready to go. But we want to make sure that you know at 5:55, the coverage of this race will go to CNBC, and we're going to stay right here with you on NBC until that time. You see the drivers. They are strapped in and on pit road, and we'll go down to Dave, who is also down there.
And so many things you have to think about now. They've been trying to fix windshield wipers on different cars. Michael Annette actually has a handheld battery-operated fan inside of his race car, trying to keep the one car's inside windshield defogged. You also see he has a little bit of a mop inside there to wipe the inside. Number of drivers, even though they all have defogger systems in the race cars, they haven't been as efficient as they had hoped. And while they sit here on pit lane, breathing hot air out of their helmets, guess what? They're fogging it up. So they need that thing to be as clear as they can. Visibility will be at a very minimal point here when they go back to racing, guys.
Well, the other thing you saw right there with Justin Haley, he has a dark shield on his helmet. And so that dark shield, as dark as it is now with the rain and the overcast conditions, can he even close his shield down and look through that because of how difficult it is to see?
I'm surprised. He would have had the opportunity to change it right there if he wanted to, guys, right?
Yeah, I wonder if just because it's, so humid in the water and all that, if you're actually racing with the visor up anyway, some drivers may choose to do that and maybe fogging up.
And that is a great sound right there. We were honored to be a part of an incredible ceremony yesterday, Jesse Iwuji, Lieutenant Commander. And Jesse, what a great honor that had to be. And obviously you had your girlfriend with you, as well as Dale Earnhardt Jr. that was able to experience that right alongside you.
Yeah, it was definitely a very incredible experience, and big thanks to NBC Sports, Dale Jr., my girlfriend, my agent, all the people who were involved in this whole thing, the Vice Admiral at the Naval Academy Superintendent. It was a really fun experience to have the opportunity to get pinned and move up to Lieutenant Commander. I've been in the Navy for the last 10 years. About 6 years ago, I was sitting on a ship in the Arabian Gulf. 1 year later, I decided to hop into a race car and start driving race cars. I met Dale Jr. and just seeing him and how he reacts to fans and how he reacts to the media and just how he handles the whole thing. I was like, you know what? I want to be just like that guy. So from there, I was like, you know what? My goal is to make it into NASCAR, eventually race at the highest levels, and currently right now racing in the Truck Series and Xfinity Series. So it's been a huge blessing to go through this journey and support other veterans and service members out there so they can accomplish their dreams too. So it's been a very blessed journey. Thank you, NBC Sports, for making all this happen.
Well, Jesse, I remember when you and I talked, at the start of the year, we knew you were going to be a part of our broadcast team, and you mentioned that moment maybe 6 years ago when you said you wrote it on a whiteboard, and you said that was something that goal, once I wrote it down, I knew I was going to achieve it. I wanted to be a race car driver.
Yeah, you definitely got to put your vision out there. I'm a firm believer that once you have a vision, that vision was given to you for a purpose. That means you were meant to go achieve that. So once you have it, put it down to paper and start executing every single day. Some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, but even in the darkest point of the night, the sun will still rise, and never let someone's opinion of you become your reality, no matter where you are. Things are going to go up and down. Keep on grinding, and it's all about who stays strong enough, long enough. Those are who make it to their goals.
Well, and you will be racing next week, so great to see that goal has been accomplished as far as getting behind the wheel and becoming a race car driver at NASCAR. And also, we really appreciate you being a part of our broadcast team. You bring another perspective that we greatly appreciate as the drivers look ready. They want to get this thing underway. We know that the track is wet, but the drivers ready to take it on. Again, at 5:55, we will switch over to CNBC. Make sure to set your clock to that, but we will be here till then. Cars are rolling off of pit road, a great sign. 30 laps complete of a 67-lap race. Want to remind you that at 5:55, our coverage will move to CNBC. So make sure that you are able to find CNBC on your local station or local channels. CNBC will be where we will be at 5:55. We'll stay right here on NBC until then. About 18 more minutes of this broadcast will be on NBC, and then we'll switch to CNBC. So the car's rolling once again. So the red flag has been lifted under a caution as they will get lined back up. They will check out the track, and let's listen in as now all of the drivers rolling. Let's listen in to Riley Herbst and the 18. A little bit of communication here just moments ago.
One of the toughest parts of this game is for everybody to get refocused after a rain delay. But stay focused behind the wheel. You had plenty of speed, so you just keep racing that racetrack. Focus every lap, every corner. And we got to be really smart for you back here on pit road because this is going to be a strategy race.
Strategy race. We want to take a look at the Toyota driver update, and that will be Riley Herbst, currently leading the race. Started all the way back in 13th. He's been as far back as 27th. One of the cars that struggled to stay on track, and we've seen it out of virtually everybody, Steve.
Well, you heard Dave Rogers with a great kind of pep talk to refocus his driver and his team there. He mentioned a strategy race. Guys, I have to say, you know, while I think the rain has let up enough that we're going to get these cars back under green flag conditions, I question whether we're going to beat the sunlight. I mean, it's a very overcast day. The sun's going to be setting. We know there are lights here at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the oval, but there are no lights on the infield. You're going to see some temporary lights that have been put up for the IMSA race later today, but those lights are not bright enough to run stock cars. So we're going to just have to see what NASCAR does with, 36 laps to go. We've been going at this for quite some time to only have 32 laps complete. And looking at the track, while the standing water looks better, Jeff, I don't expect the pace to pick up dramatically right away.
There's still a lot of standing water on the racetrack, for sure.
All right, let's get you caught up on how we got to lap 32 of this race. Starting off with Austin Cindric, an aggressive start. Yes, by the way, the track is dry at this point.
Austin Cindric on lap 1, just pushing the issue, trying to make something happen. Doing a nice job, and then, guys, something we've never seen before. Rain on the Roval.
So when they called the caution and wet, the drivers came in with wet racing tires on. And issues early. Chase Briscoe, he was running 5th. Noah Gragson, he was leading the race when he spun.
Yeah, the rain just picked up, and this track got really slick. A lot of standing water. Cars started piling into the fence here. Turn 5 and 6. See water with nowhere to go in some parts of this racetrack.
And then vision was an issue. This front stretch chicane. Harrison a couple times. The second time he didn't come to a complete stop. That would turn into a penalty. And this move right here, the 18 gets in the back of the 9, sending the 9 into the barrier. Pretty heavy damage on the front of the 9. They've been able to repair it. And then we had a red flag to try to move some of the standing water.
That brought everyone to pit road, and they climbed out of their cars for a little while, but now they're back in them. They're moving around the racetrack. They're taking in what the track will give them as far as opportunities. Dylan.
Well, guys, we talked about Noah Gragson having radio issues just a little while ago, so take a listen now to the communication between Noah and crew chief Dave Ellens again.
Can he hear us on the primary radio when his mic is keyed up? That's all we need to know. If he can hear us on that radio, send it, and we'll talk to him with the mic keyed up.
And so what they're going to do basically is rely on the spotters around this racetrack just to try to guide Noah around, and then Dave will talk with the spotters and convey that to Noah if that's the only way Noah's able to hear them. So they're kind of having to adjust on the fly and figure that out amongst all the other challenges of today. And on a day like today, I think you really, really, really wish you could have a radio just to sort all this out.
Yeah, lack of communication is so tough.
Steve, it's required, though, right? They have to have a spotter. They have to have communications from a spotter, right?
You know,
NASCAR.
It's funny you say that. So in theory, it's required, but I've had times where Dale Jr. actually at Watkins Glen couldn't hear us. I had to have him black flagged under conditions. So NASCAR has been aware at times that you don't have a spotter and let you continue. I think in the rule book it's written. I just have never seen them enforce it.
I thought that was just a judgment on my performance.
No. I just need to get some gas in the car.
I didn't know that there was
I just need to get some
Why
gas.
are they black flagging me?
So I had mentioned that we were kind of racing against daylight. One thing that's important to point out, the rule is not quite the same as it once was. It's halfway or the end of stage 2, whichever is sooner. So here, today, we're going to basically reach halfway on this next lap. When we see lap 34, that'll be halfway in the race. The race will be official. If it does have to be stopped for whatever reason, whether it's sunlight or more rain, or there's really no telling what else could happen in this race. So I'm not willing to even predict what perhaps could stop this race.
Well, we need Josh Williams sitting there in second in that 92 car. What a really good run for him. Good opportunity to take advantage of this rain. You know, that's what happens in these situations. You know, these very difficult times, things that are odd, unusual, some people find that as an advantage. Can Josh Williams take advantage of this situation?
And remember, Herbst, most of those guys don't need to pit for fuel to the finish of this race. If it rains wet, he's in position to try to win this race, try to leapfrog all these guys into the playoffs. Right now, Ross Chastain -1. Sieg right there, +1.
See, I think that makes those guys have to race. I think they have thought they could ride around today, but now where the points are, they're going to have to go race.
Josh Williams coming off of last week, his career best finish. He finished 7th at Talladega last week, quite a bit drier then. They're coming through the restart zone now to get back underway. There will be 7 laps to go in stage 2, and you see him fishtailing already. And the 7 of Allgaier charging in. Allgaier going for the lead as they go out of 1.
Outside of the 18 car of Hurst, he's going to have the inside line down here in this next corner. He's going to take the lead momentarily.
18 goes around. So is the 7. And they pile into him.
Barely got the barrier with my back.
Still green here.
Caution hasn't come out.
11 car, Haley.
There's another car in between Allgaier and Haley.
All right, you're clear right here. When he gets out of the way here.
No yellow yet. NASCAR letting this race play itself out.
Everybody got through.
See if these guys remain stuck in this barrier. I don't know that.
Yeah,
there
caution's
we go.
out. I think that's Preston Pardis that's up in front of Justin Haley.
I couldn't tell. Right?
He's lifted up. That's why he can't move.
Oh, I can tell now. Yeah.
Levin's underneath him. The
Yeah,
rear
he's
wheel's
trying to get
completely
off
off of the ground.
Man, that was crazy. The 7 got the lead, and the 18 kind of let him go in there like he was going too hard, and then both of them didn't make the corner. Heavy damage to the right front of the 1 of Michael Annette.
We have to wonder, you know, those guys were under red flag for a long time, out of the cars, right? We heard several drivers talking about how the track changes every single lap. Well, that was the first time they've been into that corner since the red flag, and clearly it didn't have the grip they were anticipating. So Justin Allgaier just by Riley, and then just both of them right there, lost control.
Yeah, so the 7 on his own, the 18 definitely had contact from Allmendinger, it appeared.
Yeah, I was going to say the 7 just got in there hot. The 18 right here looks like there was some contact with AJ that sent him around.
And then behind them, think about trying to get slowed down in this rain, right? So
you can't
jumping on the brakes makes it worse.
Yeah, you can't touch the brakes in this situation.
So contact right there. Riley came down on AJ.
Yeah, I'm saying I keep coming.
I think that's fair. It looked to me like AJ had the inside lane.
Vision's so difficult here. And let's listen in now to Allmendinger's communication. Or excuse me, we'll listen into Allgaier's communication.
Worst part is I even slowed like to a stop. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I babied it in there. Babied it.
Looked like to me he was sailing off into that corner, man.
If he felt like he babied it in there, yeah, it looked like he was flying in there.
Well, keep this in mind, too. The first cars through there are moving the water out for everybody else, right? So they're staying in water. You drive through there, those first few cars, they're going to run into it first. And these tires, these Goodyear tires, just push so much water out of the way that the guys behind them had better conditions.
With 6 laps to go in this stage, you know, they're going to give out points in 6 laps. And now that we're past halfway, the race is official. So, you know, if I'm Harrison Burton at 1 point below, I'm scared to death that this, you know, we saw how long the cleanup was the last time we had 2 cars in the tire barrier. Now we have 2 more cars in the tire barrier. You know, Harrison needs to find a position, needs to find a point.
Yeah, 1 spot. Allgaier right now +1 over the 20 of Harrison Burton.
How quick the table turned for the 7 from the leader to safe by 1 point.
Yeah, the situation for Harrison is actually very good. If he passes 1 car, he's not only gaining that point toward the finish of the event, should we end this race early, but a potential playoff point as well, where the 7 car has spun out of the top 10.
The 7 car, I think, though, the 20 I think the 20 team has to recognize that the 7 can go gain a lot of spots here, though, right? I mean, he's in the back. I think they've got to recognize that he's going to be able to go gain some spots.
So up here, Allmendinger and Chase Briscoe running 1 and 2 after the calamity in turn 3. Let's listen into Briscoe's radio.
So here's the situation we're in. We are 6 laps short on fuel. So obviously we can't make it on fuel. However, my assumption is somebody is going to run it as long as they can and pray for darkness.
I like that theory, as Richard Boswell explaining to his driver. So, you know, listen, guys, there's no way this race is all of a sudden just going to run 30-something laps green. We have seen the chaos of the rain. NASCAR's done a nice job of not throwing instant yellows, right? Dale, they let 2, 3, 4 cars pile up. They waited to see if they could get rolling. They just can't. We've talked about how the infield portion is like a street course. There's nowhere to go. I like the strategy of run it until it runs out of gas.
Yeah.
How do you know how much yellow you're going to have? You might get 25 laps of yellow. You might not, but figure that out at the other side.
Also, with the darkness coming, we don't assume that typical sunset darkness and all that is going to leave us with a track where there's no vision to be able to get around. We do have lights here. There are lights in the infield. We do not know what this track will look like when it does get dark, when the sun goes down.
So the other thing, a lot of people may be watching that are familiar with IMSA, they have lights on those cars. They do not in the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series. So darkness definitely would be a problem here at Charlotte. Race is over for the 11 of Justin Haley. Reminder, at 5:55, which is in about 3 minutes, we will move to CNBC. So make sure you know where that is on whatever provider you have. CNBC will have the conclusion of this race at 5:55. We'll obviously be with you here on NBC until then. So 2x2 once again, getting ready for the restart. 32 laps to go. Dylan.
So guys, just real quickly, heard on Noah Gregson's radio that Dave Ellens told Noah, hey, if we're not in contention to win this, we've got to be in between the 7 of Justin Allgaier, so behind the 7, and in front of the 20 of Harrison Burton, because those are the 2 guys right now who are battling for that final cutoff spot. So, Junior, Jeff, would you care to share your opinions on that?
Yeah, I guess the 9's trying to position himself in between the 7 and the 20 to affect the playoffs, that's what it sounds like. But I think I'd have to just go race. I think the 7's going to run his own race, and have a hard time keeping up with all that.
Going to try it again. The restart. Chase Briscoe in the 98. A.J. Allmendinger in the 16. Diving through turn 1. And around goes the 32.
Hard into the wall.
Josh Williams hard into the wall.
39 almost has to come to a stop, losing a lot of spots right there.
Losing spots, but doing a great job. I thought he was going to hit
98.
Briscoe sideways.
Big slides through this corner right here.
We stay green. We'll see if the 92 is able to roll. He is now rolling. I don't know if he has control, though, that he could turn. He went back toward the wall. He's going to try to get off track. So we stay green, stay racing as Chase Briscoe trying to hold on to this top spot in front of A.J. Allmendinger in the rain at Charlotte. Now back up onto the high banks here. Oh, right up against the wall is A.J. Allmendinger. How fast do you dare go on the oval as Harrison Burton has problems. He was just under the cut line.
Fine, motor's fine.
I saw him going really slow on the exit of turn 2.
Some sort of, it seems like there's power, physical power, like battery power. I don't know if it's a driveline issue, but the car continues to sit.
So Burton not rolling, below the cut line for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the car has power,
and
the
a
windshield
caution.
wipers moving.
Caution has come out. Again, a reminder at 5:55, we're going to switch to CNBC, so the caution has come out. We'll be looking forward to a restart. The end of stage 2 about in front of us with 3 laps to go.
We're thinking it's probably the input shaft broken.
Yeah. See, you can see him messing with the gears. The engine's running, but something's broken in the drive line. Gosh, you wouldn't think something could break in the rain.
Jeff, he said something about the clutch, like the clutch pedal wasn't even engaging. So could that be, that obviously is an issue. What would that mean?
Yeah, so basically the transmission, the front of the transmission has a shaft that connects the drive line to the engine. It runs through the bell housing, the clutch. If it breaks the input shaft, is what we heard over the radio, that would affect the clutch pedal in that area. To your point, Jeff, surprising though with the rain, you would think it'd be very easy on driveline equipment, but I mean, that's my assumption. You never know. Maybe at some point he's gone around or over the curbs, or maybe in all of this chaos, we haven't been able to follow the 20's entire day. Maybe he got up over the curb at some point and landed hard and broke it, or maybe it was just a bad part.
Yeah, normally, you mentioned it, Steve, like you would, you know, wheel hop it in the dry. You would do something where maybe you got it in gear too soon, right, and hurt it. But in the rain, you wouldn't think there was enough grip on the rear tires to break anything. So really, go into turn 1.
Oh, the 92 gets some help from the 68 of Brandon Brown.
Yeah, there you see the 20. He's running, and everything seems fine right there.
This, to me, was the most impressive part of the 92. After he set into the fence, that nobody makes contact with him. Very, very wet conditions. Everybody able to maneuver around this car, sitting sideways in the middle of the racetrack. Poor visibility and all.
Follow along with it with Harrison.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
Right there. It either went into gear or jumped out of gear, or he missed the gear. I can't really tell. But definitely some driveline issues there, Jeff.
Yeah, that shows you how slow they're going. We thought it was running, and it wasn't. That's how slow this pace is with the rain.
I'd love to see that again from the driver's view. Because to your point, Jeff, I thought it ran. So let's see right here. He spins the tires.
Yeah, you saw him get it up in third, and then it quit running. Like it.
Yep.
It's weird. That was really strange. It didn't look like he missed a gear.
He restarted in second, right? So he was in second gear and then went up into third, and it looked like when he went up into third, something broke.
I'll be honest, in the rain, I don't know what gear you want to restart in. I mean,
Yeah,
first
right.
probably in the dry, in the second, in the wet, maybe second, guys, right, to try to reduce wheel spin. And then I couldn't tell, Jeff, we went second to third, if it didn't go into third, if it jumped out of third, what happened exactly?
It looked like he got it cleanly in there. It just never engaged.
A.J. Allmendinger chooses to come down pit road under this caution. Ryan Snyder as well.
So issues for Harrison Burton. Just want to remind you, due to the length of today's Xfinity Series playoff race on NBC, coverage is now going to be available on CNBC. So again, we will be moving over to CNBC for viewers on NBC. Coming up next is going to be local news, except on the West Coast. Race coverage, again, from the Charlotte Roval, now available on CNBC as cars are making their way onto pit road under this caution with just a couple laps to go here in stage 2. Thanks for joining us on NBC again. be on CNBC for the conclusion of this race. So Harrison Burton got pushed onto pit road. Didn't look like he wanted to make that hard turn into the garage area. And now we know he doesn't have power. The engine runs, but he doesn't have any drivetrain power. So he's stuck on pit road.
Yeah, they pushed him, but didn't push him with enough speed to make it to the Xfinity garage. So he thought about turning into the Cup garage.
And you see one of his team members comes down to push him.
At this point, this is going to be very tough for Harrison. I'm trying to see where the 39 is to see if he could even lose enough points. Currently 19th on the running order, 18 points above. I guess mathematically he could still fall behind the 20, but it would be very, very difficult at this point. Ryan Sieg would be getting the communication for me, buddy. I don't want a car within 5 car lengths of us. Just wave them on by at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah, this looks like the end of the playoffs for Harrison Burton. Just turned 20 yesterday. Said, you know, the one thing I wanted for my birthday was to advance to that next round. Might not happen. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen here today. And so once again, the field 2 by 2, and they're going to try for 1 lap to finish stage 2.
So what does Ross Chastain do? You know, he's sitting up here. There he is in that 10 car. He's in really good shape with points. Does he push the issue at all? I would say he shouldn't, Steve. I think just don't get run over from behind would be my main goal right now.
Yeah, just come back and finish. Anything inside the top 5 in this stage, we'll put those points in our bucket. No telling what could happen the rest of the race. Let's listen in to Justin Allgaier in the 7, currently 7th in points.
And we just gotta hope that the 18, the 16, the 1 don't win, correct? That's all we're racing against, babe?
The 39, so we're the next to last spot still.
Copy that.
Yeah, because what they're talking about is, remember, if the 18 gets back up there or another car wins a race, that moves that cut line. So at the moment, you have to keep going.
1 lap. It'll be a 1 lap shootout to end stage 2. Green flag back out, and back up through the gears they go. Chase Briscoe in the 98. The 10 of Ross Chastain on his outside. Every part of the track has been tricky today, but coming up right here on turn 3 has been very difficult.
That red and white 22 of Austin Cindric. We haven't really seen him as fast today as I would have expected. Look at the 98, how loose he is trying to get the rear wheels hooked up to the ground.
There's Austin Cindric in that 22.
To answer your question on Austin Cindric, his car earlier today was really not to his liking. They finally worked on it on a couple of those, or on the one caution that they had to work on it, and he said, I finally feel like a driver again. So Brian Wilson making some changes that added a lot to the 22.
Looking strong here on this final lap of stage 2. Being scored 4th right now. Alex LeBay is up there in 3rd in the 36. He's the 3rd car back. Not a part of the playoff contention, but really, I think, shining here in this rainy condition. Noah Gragson in the 9.
I think Gragson actually has the best pace of any car in the field. He just, you know, has gone to the back. Or as I see right here, the 98, old man. He had me nervous like he wasn't going to make the
just
corner.
Missed the chicane.
As the leader of the race, he's going to win stage 2. That's his 10th stage win already of this season. The winningest driver in the Xfinity Series. And so stage 2 is complete, and it's been an eventful 2 stages here at the Charlotte Roval.
Great finishes in the stage for Greg Gaulden, Joe Buford, 74 and 07 cars. Finishing 9th and 10th in that stage.
Jesse Little just behind him in 11th as well. So Briscoe, Chastain, LeBay, Cindric, Gragson, they were the top 5. Daniel Hemrick driving the 8 car was 6th. Brandon Brown, Justin Allgaier, Greg Gaulden, Buford finishing in the top 10. Okay, guys, so that was stage 1 and stage 2. You would expect a pretty calm stage 3, I'm assuming.
The exact opposite. You know, these things just get crazier and crazier. We got rain, possibility of running out of, daylight. It could end this race prematurely. So these guys, not knowing when the finish is going to come is going to bring a lot of anxiety, a lot of pressure. And most of these guys also are starting to understand as this race gets further on distance where they are in the points, what they can and can't do, the risks that they can and can't take. They had no idea when this race started. That's all been becoming determined now, so we can start to see some more guys being a little more aggressive.
Look at this, points earned today. Most points earned. Again, you receive points if you finish in the top 10 of each stage. Alex LeVay has received the most points today by finishing, in the top 10 twice.
And I have to hand it to Ross Chastain. He came in just above the cut line, only a 7-point cushion. And guys, I know the race has been chaotic and we've had so much to cover. I think what got lost a little bit of that is the success Chastain had in the stages, that 14 points. I know Harrison has had issues now, and that's made it look like he's way fine in the points. But up until that mechanical issue for Harrison, Chastain was in a tight battle. They have showed up at a track that he's historically not the best at and done what he needs to do. I applaud this 10 team.
Yeah, I think the rain and all this adverse conditions is his friend. He kind of thrives in, when things are sort of upset, he kind of thrives in those conditions and in that environment. I think that just doesn't intimidate him. It almost sets the levels the playing field, so to speak, for him in his mind.
22 has come to pit road and has also clinched a spot in the round of 8, Dave.
And that's good news. They decided not to put on a used set, their other set of wet weather tires, because it might be an imbalance in the pressure. So they stayed with the tires they have, just needed a splash of fuel to get to the end, Dylan.
And Dave, here comes Ryan Sieg. So we've talked about his playoff battles all afternoon long. He's in great shape right now. Just has to keep this car on the racetrack. That was their mission from the start. They've done it well so far. Fuel only for Sieg, and he's on his way.
Pit road is it's as dangerous as the racetrack. There's so much standing water on pit road. So much potential for these cars to hydroplane. There's guys pulling in and out of their boxes in front of each other, guys standing, hammering the brake pedal. It's not a very safe situation, very dangerous situation for some of these guys jumping over the walls. So
look how much water is on the outside lane of pit road. Jeffrey Earnhardt, you can see just running through. I don't even want to call them puddles. What do you call them? Little lakes? It's crazy how much water is standing on pit road.
Starting to pick up a little bit as far as rain concerned. So
look at the water back there.
Yeah. And these guys, this guy can't see anything. Cars are pulling up in front of each other and pulling out into pit road, having to stop. These guys changing tires on these cars are in harm's way. Very difficult situation for everybody down there. Changing tires on a car with your back to the competition that's coming by, hydroplaning through puddles.
Well, I will say, Junior, that after you've just said that, that's another time when I say I'm feeling guilty for enjoying what I'm watching on the racetrack, because it is extremely dangerous. That's one of the things that you almost forget about, how much danger is involved in racing. Let's go down to Jesse.
Thanks, Rick. Right now, it's still the battle of the family-owned teams. Ryan Sieg, currently in the 39. He's finished 12th at the end of this stage. Him and his family-owned team are trying to be the best family-owned team in the Xfinity Series. He's battling it out right now with another playoff contender, Brandon Brown. But looks like Ryan Sieg is in the lead right now. We'll see if he can edge it out and stay in the playoffs and make it to that round of 8 and continue his opportunity that he now has to potentially get to that round of 4 and maybe fight for a championship.
You mentioned family-owned teams. Ryan Sieg, their team has 4 or 5 full-time employees plus their crew chief, Cowboy Starlin. And then you look at Brandon Brown. Here's a guy who, again, very limited as far as employees for these teams.
Yeah, How about Riley Herbst in that 18 car? We saw him leading the race earlier. They now, because he didn't pit right there, they're going to restart in about 9th spot. So that's the one guy that none of these playoff guys want to see win this race, because that would change everything in regard to points.
Noah Gragson talked earlier about this track changing every single lap. It's been raining a little bit harder since this caution come out. There's more standing water on the track because the cars aren't running on it at full speed. It will be a very, very tricky lap for a lot of these guys at the front.
Final stage about to get underway from the Charlotte Roval. Again, an elimination race for the Xfinity Series. Now, 25 laps to go. Chase Briscoe out front. Pressure from Noah Gragson behind him. Ross Chastain in the 10 on the outside. Around goes Noah Gragson and into the wall hard twice.
Get it straight down. The whole field's coming.
Noah just being real aggressive there.
Field goes by. Noah turns the car around. And we stay green. Briscoe, we have seen even on the straightaways that car gets loose.
Yeah, just spinning the tires, pushing as hard as you can, trying to get every bit of acceleration out of the car as possible. We'll take a look at the replay again with what happened to Noah Gragson coming out of turn 1. Just lost the back of the car. So much water on the racetrack. When the caution come out, you can see the cars back there behind Noah throwing that water in the air where it's standing in that trough.
He got real aggressive on that restart, drove underneath Ross Chastain. I didn't think he'd make the corner. He did a great job making the corner, but then ended up losing it corner exit.
Now Briscoe with a 3-car length advantage over Ross Chastain. Alex LeBay up there in 3rd. Justin Allgaier. How about Jade Buford also running up here in the top 5?
Oh, 18 car had to get out of the gas there. Myatt Snyder getting around him. Here comes AJ Allmendinger, who had to pit, driving his way back through the field. We haven't really seen AJ up front all day, but I think we'll see him before the end of this race is over with. So he's had to work through some problems with the windshield wiper and a few other issues.
Doesn't look like the windshield wiper is even on that car anymore, or at least it's not going to be usable. There's Allmendinger in the 16, currently running in the 8th position, trying to get by Myatt Snyder.
Myatt Snyder doing a very nice job right there. A really good road racer, putting pressure on him. Gets underneath him now. No shame in that.
He'll take that spot. That's 7th now for Allmendinger.
I agree with you, Junior. I think AJ Allmendinger, this is his time to shine. Going to work himself through this field.
With 24 to go, the question I have is, how much time will he have? Will there be enough daylight? Will NASCAR let the race run long enough? Now, here in the banking, it's totally lit because of the lights that are used for the oval races. The infield section, that would be the darkest concern.
Looking back on AJ Allmendinger here as he goes into the backstretch chicane. Just got by.
Let's watch what he does as a driver in the rain, how it is different than in the dry. So to 3rd gear. Really early lift. In the dry, he would have driven way, way deeper in the corner. Now downshift to 2nd. Will he ever go back to 1st gear? No, he doesn't. He stays in 2nd. 1st gear would just spin the rear tires so badly on the exit of that corner, and also getting into that corner. Be hard to get it slowed down, maybe. Just stays in 2nd through this whole part of the racetrack. Just ride along and listen to him, how easy he is on the throttle.
Galding in the 74 in front of him.
Something I love about watching AJ Allmendinger drive is his eyes, right? So Sounds like such a simple thing, but if you don't look where you're going, you'll never get there. He's looking so far ahead. Before he gets to a corner.
To the end on fuel. The 98 may risk it. Everybody else is way short.
I want you to look at the window of the 74 right here, Jeff. I mean, they're all fogged up, but that window of Greg Galding, I can't see at all.
Great, an amazing job getting speed out of this car.
How'd you like to be in that car, Steve?
Yeah, if you can't see in, he can't see out.
He must see pretty good. He's going to follow the tracks of AJ and the spray.
So Allmendinger up to 5th now.
See, Allmendinger staying way to the right to avoid that puddling that we've seen at the entrance to the chicane.
So Allmendinger trying to get by Allgaier. That will be the next one, but ultimately the goal is to get up to the 98 of Chase Briscoe, Dave.
Who's been flying. And remember, we played the radio earlier where they told the driver that he was 6 laps short, that he needed to save fuel. And he gave him pretty much a play-by-play in the latter laps of the last stage of what he was saving. Hasn't done much this time, but his spotter, Tim Fido, radioed to the driver. He said, if the butterflies are open, you're not saving. Really trying to ride the young driver to make sure if this race does go to the full distance, that he's got enough fuel. Butterflies, Steve, what do they mean?
Well, basically, that's the carburetor. When those things are turned up, that means you're putting throttle into the car. You know, what I don't know is how much fuel do you burn running this slow? I mean, they're very, very slow because of the water on the racetrack. So how much less fuel do you burn? We thought they could go 35 to 37 laps in the dry. Briscoe is going to have to go pretty long ways. He's going to have to go, what, 46 or 47 laps in this tank of fuel. So I guess that would be a long ways. 25% farther on your fuel tank is probably just too much to expect.
Yeah, but one thing, too, Steve, that I don't know that these drivers and crew chiefs know this, how much fuel can you save, right? So on if it's dry, you can slow down a lot and save a lot of fuel. But when it's this wet and you're not in the throttle that much, how much can you really save?
Right. And on a carbureted car, if you're pumping the gas, playing with the throttle, you know, that could use a lot of fuel as well, as we see the 18.
Let's take a look at this.
This is the rear chicane, I believe. Just got it, wow. Got it there too hot.
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh.
The rumble strips there.
And the turtles.
Trying to make something happen, knowing he has to win this race to move to the next round of the playoffs. We talk about young drivers being disappointed not advancing into the playoffs, but still, great experience for them.
The bumper cover's gone now on the 18. That's what we saw on the track that just got hit.
And normally in a big high-speed track. Oh, no, Ryan Sieg.
And Ryan Sieg.
That's a lot of damage, Steve.
That is a lot of damage. A car that was in on points but had to try to finish the day. A lot of damage to the back of this race car. The left side doesn't look so bad, but the right side shortened up dramatically around that right rear tire. Let's take a look, guys. All by himself, just loses it through turn one. We've seen many cars do it today.
Oh, it just didn't use the brake pedal to stop that car from sliding and allowed it to roll back into the fence there.
So now you wonder how much worse this is going to get.
He's 23 points above the cut line, but Brandon Brown in the 68 is the one that we're saying that cut line is. So Brandon Brown's still running.
Yeah, Sieg could pit, get the repairs done, and still probably not lose enough spots to allow Brown to overtake him. Brown would need to climb into the top 5, maybe even
win the race.
Win the race, yeah.
Well, Alex LeBay doing a great job getting around Ross Chastain. Dave, you got some on Ross?
Well, and those guys are both in this.
Alex LeBay's in the fence.
And it was looking so good for him. He's in the same fuel situation as leader Chase Briscoe, the 10 and the 36. And so at this point, Ross Chastain had wanted to pit on the last time, there was an opportunity, but the radio situation is so bad he didn't do it. More chaos on the track. So Chastain, who is in a good position points-wise, doesn't need to lose all those points, run out of fuel on the track, guys, late in this race. So we'll see. Hopefully he's saving too.
Jeffrey, yeah, he stalled Jeffrey Earnhardt right now, the exit of the front stretch chicane. Now he gets it fired again. Running again, stay green. 20 laps to go. The rain continuing to come down.
Back to that fuel situation with Ross Chastain. I don't think pace matters right now for him, Steve. I think he can just go as slow as he needs to go. There you see LeBay just trying to get back in the throttle and just lost the back, and then unfortunately for him, it just caught the tire barrier.
He did. You mentioned Ross Chastain could go as slow as he'd like. I would take the opposite approach. I would just pit him.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I mean, he has what, 35 points to give. You know, you run out of gas in the infield section, you don't have to get pushed back. You could lose a lap. I would just go ahead and pit him, put fuel in the car.
15 car here's.
There you go, under this yellow.
Jesse Little.
If I was the 10, I'd be getting fuel under this yellow. I know you want to try to win the race, and that's the popular call, but at some point you just advance to survive.
So let me ask, so Steve, would you feel comfortable putting him back, having to go through all that traffic and all that debris, or would you feel better trying to save fuel with another caution and keep him in front of all that chaos?
Well, it sounds like they have some radio issues. So my concern is, does he know how dire the situation is on fuel? Is he saving?
Wide open. Have to pit.
There you go. You have to pit. Just come get fuel. Just come get fuel. Explain the situation.
I think that's what's important. Is just let him know what's going on. Let him know that 20's out of the race. He's broken. You know, nobody right now is in position to win the race. It can hurt you, and you don't have to. You can finish 30th and be just fine.
Well, you got to remember, Sieg is damaged, and he's behind you in points.
Right. Then we just saw the 18 of Riley Herbst. Surely his car is not as good as it once was when he ran over those big curbs.
And he's in a must-win situation.
A couple guys that are doing a real good job. Mike Snyder, he was battling Justin Allgaier right there when the caution came out to try to take over 5th position. And you guys had mentioned it. Myatt's had some experience not only on the road courses but in the rain. In your NASCAR series, ran a year over there. And then behind him, Greg Alding in that 74 car. Rarely does this car see itself in the top 10. But Gray, we've seen him take cars and overachieve many times in his short career. He's doing it again today.
Yeah, Greg Alding, a young man, just 22 years old. He's had 4 starts this year and already 2 top 10 finishes in those 4 starts. Interesting, when Greg Alding started out in NASCAR, he was so young. At 15 years old, he had a chocolate milk sponsor. That's who was sponsoring him at the time. That's how young he was when he got into this sport.
I can get behind that.
I became a big fan of his because he was sponsored by Krispy Kreme.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Those kind
Let me get this
chocolate
straight.
milk and Krispy Kreme.
I mean, really.
That's how it works, corporate America.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the negative, Jeff. You've not presented any sort of case against chocolate milk and Krispy Kreme.
Well, here you go. Ross Chastain coming down pit road.
Getting ready to come to pit road. He'll top off. Also seeing the 36 make his way onto pit road too. Dave.
You could hear the spotter for Ross Chastain just pleading, hoping that his radio was going through. The electronics are so bad right now, but he did get the message, takes the fuel here, and hopefully will not have that stop on the track that would have been so costly points-wise, Dylan.
And Dave, a little further down pit road, a couple cars with some damage. Alex LeBay, we just saw his shunt there after running so well inside the top 5, working on the right front of his car. And just a couple stalls down from him is Ryan Sieg, who of course has heavy rear end damage, the deck lid hanging on by just a thread, the rear bumper cover as well. So they're working on the right side, the right rear of that race car, trying to decide whether they want to just have that bumper cover attached or let it flap like it is right now. So that's the decision, if they're going to try to tape it up, or what they're going to do here is they throw a hammer over the wall.
Interesting, we talked about Myatt Snyder. He's driving for RSS Racing, which is Ryan Sieg. Racing. So the teams both having success today.
Back at the Charlotte Roval, raining hard, and leader Chase Briscoe either has a faulty gauge, water pressure gauge popping all over the place, or they have a catastrophic failure. We'll see if the 19 can hold on to the end, Rick. The 98, that is.
98 of Chase Briscoe. Right now, race leader. He has the 16 of A.J. Allmendinger. Right next to him, one of the best on road courses. As they get ready for the restart. 17 laps to go. How much chaos will we see in the final 17? Back up through the gears. Will the 98 make it? Strong into turn number 1.
AJ around the outside is going to have the drive off. But he's offline a little bit. If he can stay in this position, he will have the inside line of these next section of corners.
Door to door as they go through 3.
Wow, Briscoe hanging tough on the outside here. Oh, over the curb.
Off track, a little slicker over there.
Look how wet it is out there. Briscoe having a hard time getting the power down.
A.J. Allmendinger just in front of the 98. He tries the crossover move to get back there.
Oh, there's contact almost sending the 16 off the racetrack.
Still fighting for this spot. Fighting for the lead. Look at Myatt Snyder in the 93 coming up to challenge.
Myatt Snyder's going to take this second spot, but Briscoe's going to turn underneath him. Briscoe sideways.
Heavy damage to the right front headlight.
Contact made. Will that affect the right front tire? As now the 7 of Allgaier goes by on the outside. How about Myatt Snyder up here in second now?
Driving that Louisiana hot sauce, number 93. They've been a big supporter of Myatt's over the years. Having his best run of his career.
Spent that time, I mentioned it earlier, Rick, he spent that time in Europe running the Euro Series, a lot of road courses over there. You have to ask if that experience isn't paying off today.
First time he's been to this racetrack, ran the road course at Daytona, but never been to the Roval.
Oh no, he's got to miss it. I don't believe he missed it. I believe that he won't have to come to a stop. Knocked him out of second position and may have damaged that car. We'll just have to see.
But fortunately, Allgaier behind him had issues also. Wasn't able to take able to take third position.
I thought he was going around right there. He is driving his heart out.
And Myatt Snyder is running the full season in Xfinity, but not for the same team. Right now he's RSS with Ryan Sieg, but he also spent time with Richard Childress Racing. He ran 6 races for them, and now finishing out the season with RSS.
Yeah, now just collect yourself, right? You just dodged the bullet, made it work. Long way to go. Here he is. this is leaving the infield section and just Briscoe trying to turn underneath him. Contact right there. Briscoe lost the back of the car. And then here's what we've seen all day long, just not being able to make that corner. But see, Allgaier had trouble, so that let Myatt keep third position.
I'm concerned of where that contact was on the 93, though. It wasn't really on a tire. Center of the car, up and over those curbs, those turtles. A lot of things to damage in that location.
Yeah, I think he got lucky to get away from there without ripping anything under the race car apart.
So far, a best finish of 10th. Saw there of the 4 road course races.
Behind him, Daniel Hemrick has gotten around the 7 car. Justin Allgaier. And Brandon Brown behind Allgaier. He's getting a little bit of pressure from Riley Herbst, who's drove his car back through the field.
And now just 15 laps to go.
Oh, there's Myatt
around. And all those positions that he had worked so hard to gain. Yeah, his vision's so difficult here. Facing into traffic.
Dangerous place to be sitting. You hope all the spotters are communicating and all the teams still have good communication.
He does, but to the back of the field, the 93 goes.
Yeah, he's not the first. Same place we see Sieg. The list is very long, that turn 1. And there's the 8. We haven't talked much about the 8. That's Daniel Hemrick entering the fray right there in the 3rd position.
Daniel Hemrick, you talk about him in that 3rd position, he's had just an unbelievable year. Seems like every time he gets in that car, something happens, something breaks, gets in a wreck not caused by himself.
And we have seen the 98 and the 16 in the battles that they have waged at the road courses. So being in 3rd for Hemrick might be the perfect place to be. I mean, this is very difficult to race as it is. Now you put some rain on the racetrack and it's going to be easy to push each other off course. Dave.
That's right. Remember how he raced to the win, this 98 driver, Chase Briscoe at Indy, around all these guys. The fuel situation, though, let's listen to the radio.
Where are we at on fuel? With our aggressive numbers, we're 1 to the good. With our conservative numbers, we're 1 lap short. Do everything we can to win the race here. And we need to go all we got then, right? Yes, sir.
All right, there you go. You run 2 sets of numbers. Hope you land somewhere in the middle and to the good. 98 still trying to chase down the 16, Dylan.
And Dave right behind him just spoke about Daniel Hemrick. You know, it's interesting looking at this 8 car. Obviously, it's been a up and down season for this car, but they mentioned, Taylor Moyer did, the crew chief, that they didn't really know what they had on road courses because all 3 they've run this year, they've had some sort of issue, whether mechanical or getting caught up in incidents. So today was just going to be about base hits, kind of learning on the fly. As Taylor always says, not what you know, it's how fast you can learn. So they expected a challenge today. They've overcome that challenge, have themselves in a great spot right now, running in 3rd, going to try to finish it off.
Yeah, Dylan, it's been an amazing career for Daniel Hemrick. He's run in the Truck Series, the Xfinity Series, even ran in the Cup Series. Hasn't won at any level yet, but he's been so consistently good. Even the last 2 races for Daniel Hemrick, 3rd and a 5th.
And that, you know, that's how you win, is you run up front consistently. I know that sounds very silly. You want to be the first car. But if you consistently run in the top 5, as we see the 99 around here on the front stretch, you know, you have to be in the picture. As I mentioned, you don't know what's going to happen between Briscoe and Allmendinger. The fuel situation on the 98 is close. There's a lot of opportunity for the 8. He's put himself in position where it's not out of the realm of possibility that a win could come his way.
And guys, I think the rain has let up. It's not coming down nearly as hard anymore.
I think the rain has let up. I don't think the track can dry in 13 laps, but the standing water might go away as we see Cindric
push it, as does Noah Gregson. Oh, and right to the back bumper, the 18.
Well,
these 2 already had an issue.
That's right. Riley says, you know what? Go ahead.
Oh, Noah's going to go.
Is he going to miss it?
Noah's going to miss the corner. I don't know if he's hurt that car after running in the back of the 18, coming out of the final chicane.
I don't know, he sees over the hood.
Hood's up a little higher now.
You know, you talk about cautions and how far we could go on fuel. Well, it's not unusual for these races, even these very challenging races, to go green for a long time at the end of the race. Everybody has learned the racetrack. Everybody gets comfortable, starts understanding what they can and cannot do. I mean, I wouldn't expect no cautions, but it wouldn't completely surprise me either. You see Cindric driving underneath the 18 car of Riley Herbst, and then here comes Noah. A little bit of contact, and then Noah drives in the corner, just drives it too deep, and this is it. I'll give the aggression award to Noah Gragson today. Y'all agree with that?
He's went hard.
He's run hard. Spun from the lead early in this race.
Well, you mentioned the lead. The lead is getting close as we focus on these two right here. The 98 of Briscoe has...
Oh, the 16 almost missed the chicane. Sorry, Steve.
Well, no, that's my point, is I don't think the 98 was close enough to pass him, but Allmendinger has to feel him back there, right? Now can see him in the mirror, or at least maybe hear from the spotter he's back there.
We know that Allmendinger's pushing as hard as he can because he just about missed the final chicane, and that's allowed the 98 to get right to his bumper. Great battle for the lead here.
A.J. Allmendinger a win already this season, but it was on an oval at Atlanta. And now trying to win on the road course here.
And remember, guys, there's a lot on the line right here potentially for Chase Briscoe, with Clint Boyer announcing that he is going to retire. That seat has become available in the Cup Series, and Chase Briscoe drives for that same company, Stewart-Haas Racing. So a win today certainly wouldn't hurt that opportunity to get into that 14 car.
Yeah, 6 road courses on the 2021 schedule. Here we are at a road course in the rain. You guys have talked about how difficult the conditions are. If he can pull it off in these conditions, passing a guy who has won in open wheel, in stock car, he's won in the Rolex.
Look at here.
And he's going to try to outbrake him on the backstretch chicane.
Can he make it?
A little bit quicker, and sure enough, Chase Briscoe leading now at the Charlotte Roval.
What a move. Outbreaking the road course expert.
In the rain. That is an incredible move. And by the way, A.J. Allmendinger also, you know, not just doing something silly and driving into the door of a guy outbreaking him. That's just good racing.
Well, with 12 to go, remember that the 98 is still, we'll call it questionable on fuel from all the information we have. Dave.
Was talking with a mechanic on one of the junior motorsports team today in the garage area, and guess who he saw iRacing a lot this week on the Roval? It was Chase Briscoe, spending a lot of hours in simulation trying to find the little areas where he could improve. And that braking area, again, reminds me of Indianapolis. Outbroke the best in the business to take the lead late in that race. And now Chase is trying to race his way to the end here. Will he have enough fuel? We'll find out, but he's back in the top spot.
I log into those sessions and I see his name, but I never see him because he's so fast. Sometimes he comes from behind, Rick, but I never see him out front.
Oh, there he went. I'm thinking back to the Rolex 24 when I mentioned 2 years ago, Fernando Alonso, and he was in that race. And I remember the difference as we see the 98 get a little bit loose there. But I remember the difference of him braking in the rain versus everybody else. It looked a lot like what I just saw to Chase Briscoe in the rain. That was an impressive move he just made to take the lead.
I think what makes rain so exciting for the race fans, Formula One, NASCAR, you name it, IMSA, is because it just takes away a lot of the equipment. It doesn't matter how good the brakes are, how much downforce you have. While those things matter some, they are diminished greatly in the rain. I think it comes down to just pure talent, Dale. What you're able to do, your natural instinct, your natural ability.
Yeah, that's what makes this so impressive. Briscoe, I don't think we knew that he was this type of race car driver until this year. He's really turned it on.
8 wins, looking for 9.
Well, are we surprised? These are the 2 drivers that each won a race here at the Roval.
Well, this is what's so impressive. To be able to turn left on A.J. Allmendinger, a really good road racer, and outbrake him into a very difficult chicane and carry enough speed through the exit of that chicane. Like, you know, you sometimes somebody outbrakes another driver and then he can't make the rest of the corner. Chase Briscoe found a way to do both.
AJ's doing a nice job of staying kind of in touch, right? If the 98 slips a wheel or makes a mistake, AJ's there.
Yeah, wants to be close enough.
22 car Austin Cindric missing the front straightaway chicane. Will have to come to a stop. He's sitting there running in 7th place just in front of Alex LeBay.
interesting day. I thought Cindric would be better.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen him up in the front more than we have.
Briscoe, Allmendinger, Daniel Hemrick, Allgaier, Gregson. They're the top 5. Then it's Riley Herbst, Austin Cindric back there in 7th. Alex Labey is 8th. Ross Chastain 9th. Michael Annett is 10th.
See the 22 car have his issues right here.
Guys, he actually missed it on the back chicane, so had to pull out of the straight here and the front straightaway and serve his penalty.
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is.
Oh, and look how slick that paint is.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you're going to miss it back there, just accelerate as hard as you can to get back around to the front straightaway as quickly as you can.
As one driver in the playoffs, currently 6 at plus 36 that we have. I don't think we've said his name all day, which is, I think, a tip of the hat to Brandon Jones. His best finish at the Roval 16th. He's currently running 16th. He has just found a way to make the Roval be just simple, just a non-story. A good job by the playoff driver.
Passing through this race to advance to the next round.
Yeah.
Again, there's A.J. Allmendinger, one of the best on road courses, coming off just a couple days ago, celebrating his 1st anniversary.
Rain's calmed down quite a bit.
Yeah, and the lap times are going down with it, Junior. They're getting faster and faster.
Which hurts fuel mileage, Steve.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And Chase Briscoe.
So now we talked earlier, or we heard Noah say how every lap it felt like a new lap. Every time through a corner, it drove different, it felt different. That was getting wetter in the standing waters. We see Ryan Seek just getting out of the way right here. Now for the 98, it's the opposite. Now every time he goes through, is it drier? Is there more speed? You know, and his question is who starts to attack sooner? Is it the 98? Is it the 16? And who attacks too early and makes a mistake?
Chase Briscoe, again, does he have enough fuel? How much pressure, as we see the 99 McLaughlin around again, how much pressure will A.J. Allmendinger put on Chase Briscoe? Under 9 laps to go. That's not a good place to be sitting. And don't back into another car.
Well, here come the leaders. They're going to be the next set of cars coming through right here. If we stand right here, we're going to see the leaders turn into this corner. Here they come.
And right there. Oh, and he pulls out and into the wall a bit. Yeah. Caution comes out.
Pretty light contact right there.
Already on a damaged right front, Briscoe tags the wall.
Whew. He had me nervous.
How about a late race restart after everything else we've seen today?
Is that the caution that saves his fuel mileage, guys?
Oh, it's a great point, Dave. Why it was a little bit of a hard on the nerves. It might be better on the fuel tank. Great point, Dave.
Allmendinger actually is going to be a part of the IMSA race. Oh, look how close that was. The IMSA race, which is going to be tonight on NBCSN. It'll start at 8 o'clock, but Allmendinger will be a part of that broadcast team. So he'll take the experiences of that right there and the finish of this race, which is going to now be down to probably 6 laps. They'll be fighting for this race win. Dylan.
Rick, you're talking about A.J. Allmendinger. How hard is he going to push to go after this win? Take a listen to the radio and the pep talk they were giving him when he was trying to track down Briscoe.
I can't break that late. 10 more minutes, just keep the pressure on. Make a mistake. He's already made 3 or 4 today.
It ain't over, man. Get out of your head here. It ain't over. You're the best here. You're all good, dude.
Car owner Matt Collick calls this car, the 16, the trophy chasing car. So that's all they're here to do, and it's hard to believe they haven't won one on the road course yet this year. So AJ would sure like to check that box and defend his Roval race win with the victory here.
Well, there's so many storylines on this restart because we mentioned Briscoe and Allmendinger, but as I look back through the field, we're going to have Gregson and Riley Herbst side by side, with Riley needing a win. Gregson, I perhaps think, a little upset. So
now I think they've already settled it.
You think so?
Yeah, because they've been racing around each other a little bit before that caution came out.
Yeah, and they hit each other.
Yeah.
So that settled it?
I feel bad. I mean, I'm the owner of one of those cars, and I feel okay. I'm not
you feel like it's okay?
I'm not nervous.
All right.
Well, here's the thing. It's a restart, right? And we've seen turn 1. How many times have we seen turn 1 on a restart at the Roval become a big, big issue in the dry. And now it's in the rain. Riley Herbst needing to win. We already know A.J. Allmendinger, how bad he wants to win. I mean, there's going to be a lot of aggression going into turn 1, and I don't know that it's going to be people intentionally running over each other, but just trying to win a race.
Yep.
Past the Tums, is that what you're saying?
Well, pass the Tums and try not to hit the Tums.
Started raining again as well, guys. That should make it interesting.
That's just one more variable we need to add into this.
So you mentioned it, Jeff, and this turn 1, it's very different on the restarts because you don't use the chicane. Your speed is higher. This was the first one, and we thought this was a video game. It looked like a wreck on your PlayStation. Brad misjudges it, and 10 other cars in the Cup Series follow him in. These are the best in stock cars. They did this in the dry. So we said, oh, well, they'll learn. This will never happen again. A year later, the eventual winner, Chase Elliott, both front tires locked up. I thought this was the end of the day. Somehow, he bounced back from this to get to victory lane. But we're talking about the most experienced in the dry. Rick, now we have, while A.J. Allmendinger and Briscoe are very good road course racers, there is a field behind them with less experience in the wet. 7 laps to go. A win advances Riley Herbst into the playoffs. I mean, there's so much on the line. I'm not sure if you're Briscoe and Allmendinger, if you know if you want to look out the window or the mirror.
Well, listen, don't sleep on Daniel Hemrick in that 8 car. He's done a nice job today. He's the only driver in the top 7 that hasn't spun out today. So he's got that going for him. And it's been a, you mentioned it, Rick, earlier, is that he's never won in the Xfinity Series. He's never won a Cup race, never won at one of the top levels. Here he is with a short run on the Roval with a restart with a chance to win this race. He is going to be going for it right here, trying to get that first win.
Right behind him, the 7 of Justin Allgaier, listening to his radio.
What's the 98 doing different than everybody else that he's able to just drive back by everybody?
He's just on the edge more. I'm surprised he hasn't had more problems, but he's pushing pace pretty good.
I confirm, pushing pace.
Well, he knows where the edge is, apparently, because he's been on the edge more than anyone else. But he's up front. He's being able to hold off one of the best road course racers there is.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you're not going to sit me down and ask me to review everything that's happened today in this race. I mean, it's just been amazing. We were showing the highlights earlier, and there was cars in the dry. I forgot it was even dry at some point.
So there's going to be no sleep tonight from Cup drivers?
Well, I can tell you 2 teams are going to feel pretty good. We saw the tweet from Kurt Busch driving in his convertible, heading to the Roval with no stress, and then Chris Gabehart actually texted me and he said, hey, I'm just thankful we're through. He didn't want to make it sound like he wasn't thankful, but man, after seeing this, I'm thankful we're through, because he also is not going to have a lot of stress coming here, knowing those 2 cars have advanced.
Yeah, win and you advance. And we've seen it out of Kurt Busch as well as Denny Hamlin.
So the cars ran for quite a while there, keeping the track relatively clean of standing water, but the rain picked up during the yellow. So I think this first lap for the leaders could be a little treacherous in some positions on the racetrack.
And it's dark, and we have 6 laps to go. You see the rain starting to fall a little bit heavier. Getting ready for the restart. 6 to go. Green flag back in the air. Briscoe, Allmendinger. Allmendinger a little bit harder into 1.
We saw this on the last restart. Allmendinger able to roll that outside, and he tries to stay on the right side of this 98, so he's on the inside of this next sequence of corners.
Contact made.
And he's going to be able to clear this 98 right here.
Now can Chase Briscoe come back?
Chase tries to stay off the paint there to be able to get the gas down. Paint very slick.
As they start to approach turn 7 and then turn 8. Turn 8 we've seen so many times. Just as they're getting ready to get into the water, it's puddled up really badly right here. It's made this exit very difficult. They both do a great job navigating through that.
This is where Chase Briscoe outbroke the 16 of Allmendinger, getting into this backstretch chicane. Can he do it again?
They're too far away right now. I don't think he can make that from there. If he can, Allmendinger's going to be heartbroken.
He's going to the outside. He's alongside.
Yeah, he's going to have to be a little bit closer entering that corner, but Allmendinger knows that now. So Allmendinger's going to have to try to find a way to exit turn 8 better to gain that gap.
Now into the front stretch chicane.
And maybe Allmendinger,
look at that. Unbelievable.
Another braking opportunity. Allmendinger all day long has stayed to the left side of that corner.
Little loose there, 5 laps to go.
So this part of the racetrack that we're heading to right now, this infield section, it's going to be everything for A.J. Allmendinger. If he can gap the 98 car, it will give him enough clearance so he can't outbrake him into that rear chicane, but he's got to do it perfectly through here. And he knows it. He knows that he cannot brake as well as Briscoe can. Briscoe gained a little bit through that section. AJ all the way out to that paint. All right, here it is. This is the most important part of the racetrack right here. Briscoe needs to make a big run heading into turn 8. This exit right here will be huge. Take advantage of Allmendinger right there, guys.
A little bit shallower entrance into the turn for the 98 of Briscoe, but this is where he's always been strong. Coming out of this turn and down the backstretch. Here he goes again to the outside. That momentum.
Briscoe again.
Barely, still there, barely. Barely, clear.
Yeah, Allmendinger's taking that inside line. He is not going to let him outbrake him to the inside. He's going to make him try to pass him on the outside. Just not going to give it up the way he did earlier.
He's going to have a fight in this chicane down here. 98's right there.
Well, we know where AJ's going.
AJ up the racetrack, losing grip.
AJ's always stayed far to the inside on this turn.
Oh, AJ slips a little bit.
Can Briscoe take advantage? No. But it does allow him to be closer entering this infield section.
Yeah, Jeff, I just see that backstretch chicane. Briscoe closes 5, 6, 7 car lengths. So even if he protects the inside, I think Briscoe can outbrake.
Briscoe's on the inside here.
There he goes. Now can Allmendinger stay here as they get to turn 3 right here?
AJ gives him a bump. Rain picking up. More and more water on the racetrack here. Contact right there. Sends the 16 wide.
Here comes Briscoe.
Lots of water out there on the wide offline.
New leader, Chase Briscoe out front.
What a great move by Briscoe. Just a little bump.
Comes AJ. Gonna give it back.
Yeah, this is the part right here. AJ knows it. If Briscoe gets away from him right here in 8, it's over. Unless Briscoe makes a mistake.
Water increasing on the racetrack.
Raining harder.
Oh, AJ could not leave that corner as well as Briscoe.
Oh, the 68, Brandon Brown, off the racetrack, had contact with the wall.
This is going to bring out the yellow, I believe. It's
probably going to get another yellow.
He can't move. You see the right rear tire is definitely flat. He's not going to be able to roll. Was running in the 9th position for Brandon Brown.
Look how heavy the rain is now. Still under green. No movement out of the 68 yet, though.
This is in the infield on that little short straightaway leading into turn 5.
Caution's out.
Caution's out.
So now the concern for the 98 is while the fuel was better because of the yellows, this may put us into overtime situation.
How long will it take to get that 68 off the track?
That's not what we wanted. Max save here. Max save.
Big save here.
Yeah, max save.
Take a look at what happened there.
Drops a tire off on the right side there.
Oh my.
Man.
A little bit of standing water back there.
That's definitely lift clean in place.
I agree with you on the fuel mileage, but also just the short run speed of AJ. His experience, he can attack that first lap where it seems the 98 car has to work his way up to trusting the grip in the car.
So how much faith do you have? Like at this point,
look at that.
Man, I didn't see that contact from 18.
So Riley would think about this. Riley was running 5th when that happened. So he would be sitting there running 5th with an opportunity to try to make something happen on this restart.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's a great point about Riley, Jeff. My question, you know, Dale Jr., is Briscoe has taken the driver's left.
Yeah.
Because that's turn 1. But Allmendinger has beat him by running the outside of turn 1 and then getting the inside through the infield section.
Yeah.
Would Briscoe ever dare start and give A.J. Allmendinger the inside into turn 1?
I don't know. The other thing, too, is the guy lining up in third position, Noah Gragson, been as aggressive as he's been all day.
Yep.
He doesn't care about them guys on the front row. He's going for a win. He's in a great position. He's been aggressive on the restart. She's going to try to put it in there and try to figure out a way to get around and get through those guys in those first couple of corners. I don't know if you want to be on the outside because of not only A.J., but also the guys in third are going to be aggressive. Here's some contact with the 13 and the 7.
Oh, wow. It was Stephen Light and a 13 that also hit the 18.
Yeah, the 7.
Yeah, he had missed. I don't know, not sure what happened there. He had missed the chicane.
He might have missed the backstretch chicane. It was coming to a stop here on the high side.
That was it, Junior. He did miss the backstretch chicane. So he was talking to on the radio. He said, I can't see. It's hard to see. He's had Eddie DeHaan basically telling him when to turn, and it still didn't work. So it is a tough conditions out there right now. And you see he's got problems on the left front now.
Okay, let's listen in to Chase Briscoe's radio. Again, they're close on fuel.
I literally, I'm not even kidding, I cannot see. I'm not just saying that because I'm in the lead, it's literally that dark through here. Anything can happen, stay alert. I can't see much either, so be on your game here.
And I think what he's talking about is the infield section. We talked about the sun is set, basically. The oval's lit pretty well, but, man, that infield is dark.
Yeah.
Well, and you can't completely trust him either, right? He's wanting to call it.
That's a good point.
It's so dark, I can't see.
Yeah.
Gotta call the race.
Just like every other race where somebody's out front and you say there's caution or there's debris on the racetrack that needs a caution. But this one is a situation where he's right. It's dark.
It is dark, though. And I'm looking out of the window right here, guys. It's darker in person than it is on television, I would say. It's crazy how low the visibility will be in that infield section.
We had Alex LeBay having a great day and spun off the racetrack into the barrier, losing a lot of spots, has worked his way all the way back up to the 5th. And that 36 car doing a great job.
There's another name in the top 10 here. Cody Ware is running 8th right now. This is his first start of the year. And think about the conditions that he's having to battle right now. His first start of this year, and he is currently running in 8th.
See how dark it is. It's obvious when they're in the infield just how dark it is. All right, Junior, I question lane choice. Let's review the last restart. The leader is the 98. He accelerates the 16 of Allmendinger to his right side. Remember, there's no choose lane here, but the front row can choose. The leader can choose. The 98 leaves the right side to the 16. As we continue to follow them into the infield, you're going to see side by side into the right-hander, and as they exit the right-hander, they're going to be single file because the 16 right here, look at them leave. That's the pass for the lead right there. So I put the question again, would you dare change lane? I think you can't leave them the inside. Can you into turn 1? I mean, if you're the 98?
I think considering where he is in points locked in, he can take the biggest risk to try to win this race. So maybe he does put himself on the outside, but it looks like he's going to choose to be on the inside again.
That concerns me because of the 16's short run speed and its work. Let's listen into the 16.
See what he's got going on with his fuel there, AJ. Actually, I really can't see what he's got going on. Quite hard to see here. I'm sure, dude. I'm sure.
So I want to see a race like everyone does, but sitting here in the booth, the cars, they look great on the oval. That infield section.
It's dark.
It is dark.
It is dark, and the rain is heavy right now. And as it's been all day, it's actually picked up in the last couple of minutes.
You see Noah, he has had his hand up cleaning the windshield. So you just showed a great replay of that battle for the lead. So check out turn 2. Okay, it's got banking. It's banked, so that outside line can work because all the water runs to the inside of this corner. A lot of the corners here aren't banked. Well, that one is. So I think that helps that outside lane. So that lane that A.J. Allmendinger is in, I think that's why he's able to keep that pace through turn 2.
I tell you, Alex LeBay in that 36, Rick, in the short run.
What about Daniel Hemrick in the 8? Also another spoiler potentially. Coming up on overtime. 2 laps to go from the Charlotte Roval. Overtime presented by Credit One Bank.
Briscoe
into
got a better
turn one.
restart.
A lot better start for Chase Briscoe, but here comes the 16 again. A.J. Allmendinger with a great turn, and now the 98 goes around.
Hold her down here, hold her down here. Got her.
Briscoe around. He'll wait for the field to go by. Allmendinger out front. Now Daniel Hemrick running second. Gregson third. Alex LeBay is fourth.
Moving away, man.
Oh,
No mistakes here, no mistakes.
8 almost goes around Hemrick.
Well, it's pouring again now, guys. It hasn't rained this hard for a while.
Yeah, the track is completely soaked. Lots of standing water.
And I'd say when the rain was this heavy earlier, I believe the 9 had the most pace of anyone in the field. Can he find enough to close in these last 5 or 6 car lengths?
Oh, he missed the corner.
That's Gregson in the 9. He's running second.
Is it fair to say we've said he's missed the corner more with Noah than anybody else?
Oh,
today?
man.
He is pushed.
Well, we talked about the restart, the 98. Jeff, you mentioned it, the inside lane. I don't know if the water or just aggressive on the throttle, but he lost control, giving the lead to the 16.
To the backstretch chicane. The 8 has closed the gap as well. Coming up on the final lap. And now the 9 pulling away from Hemrick.
AJ had a big moment running the bottom. Had to get out of the gas in the middle of NASCAR 3 and 4.
He's going to see the white flag here. One more time around for A.J. Allmendinger.
Okay, give me a deep breath here. Give me a deep breath. One more good one, man.
On
No
a dry
pressure.
Roval,
No
I would
mistake.
say this is A.J. Allmendinger's race. Pouring down rain, nothing is guaranteed.
A couple cars missing the final chicane. Myatt Snyder, the 51. Clements.
Gregson sideways as he goes through one.
You hope the spotter's telling you the gap right now. Let A.J. Allmendinger know how much room he has.
That's a great point, Steve. No
20
need to
car
push it.
lengths, right? 20 car lengths. Don't make your own mistake. Make him catch you.
Yeah, the truth is you may not can see them, right? I mean, look at these conditions. You may not even know where that car is.
Into 5. The gap still 6 car lengths. A.J. Allmendinger in front. Looking for his second win of 2020.
Oh, Noah's going to miss the corner big time. Barely got a turn there.
A.J. clean through that turn. Now through 9 and 10 for the final time.
I'll give it clean enough, Rick.
There's the gap. Here comes the 8 also. Don't forget about Daniel Hemrick back there. One mistake. We've seen it out of Chase Briscoe. Bit slow through the turn there for A.J. Allmendinger. Gregson, Hemrick, second and third. One more time.
Back, no mistakes.
Through the front chicane for A.J. Allmendinger. The gap is closed up.
The 8 slid the rears.
The 16, A.J. Allmendinger will win at the Charlotte Roval.
What a race, what a battle.
Thank you for sticking with me, man. God, yeah!
Jeff, about an hour and a half ago, you made the comment, you've been in NASCAR a long time, and you have never seen anything like this.
Yeah, just an incredible
Man,
race.
colleague, we appreciate it. Ellsworth advises, Lee built the gutter protection to everybody. We love you, AJ. Way to do it, my man!
Unbelievably difficult conditions. You know, for series that race in the rain all the time and have familiarity with racetracks, this series doesn't race in the rain that often, and never before in the rain on this racetrack. And it was pouring down rain. And so great job by really all the drivers, but particularly A.J. Allmendinger.
And he didn't have the fastest car. I know we expect AJ to be tough at these racetracks, but he didn't have the speed the 98 car did. He had to take it to him on that last restart with that opportunity there and did that.
That was Chris Rice we were just seeing there behind pit road.
You talked about the restart. We talk a lot about lane choice, Dale. I don't know if there was a right or wrong answer, but in the end, the 16 got momentum around the 8, around the outside of the 98. The 98 just lost control, whether it was standing water or too hard on the gas. We're going to have to ask Chase Briscoe in a little bit. In the end, though, loses control of the 98, spins it around, and just like that, he loses the race.
Look behind him, all the water flying up in the air. The car's hitting that trough. There's a little bit of a trough right there as you enter the road course section off of the oval. And the rain was as strong and as heavy as it'd been all day long under that yellow.
And you mentioned it, the leaders get there first, right? They blow the water off for the guys behind them. So Briscoe was the first guy to that puddle of water.
The track was in terrible condition.
Yeah, and I think the inside lane is actually the worst over there, the way the water puddles up.
Got to give NASCAR and the track a lot of credit for being able to put, get this in. Good year for the tire development. This is not favorable conditions at all. We'd love to see, we'd like to see cars race in the rain. This was probably more severe than anybody really wants, and they did a good job getting this race in. AJ obviously extremely happy.
I think he's going to take that enthusiasm to the broadcast booth at 8 o'clock for the IMSA race, which is going to be run right here on this Roval.
I would say he has the credentials to be the analyst for it, since he just won the Xfinity Series race. He'll be able to say, there's a puddle here, there's a puddle here, look out, there's a puddle there.
Yeah. Helmet coming off. You've already seen him showing his emotion. Tara's wife, I'm sure, is as excited as he's about ready to climb out of the car in victory lane. Dave?
He gets the head sock off, he gets the mask on, he gets the earbuds out. I've been giving him coaching all day long, not that he needed any, but that was quite an event. Quite an event for him. By the way, if you had leaf filter gutter protection, I think you did well today, because it flowed all day long, just like the driver of the 16 did today. AJ, what did we just witness?
I don't know. I got to thank my guys, Chris Rice, Matt Collick especially. I love you, man. My wife, Tara, my mom's sitting at home. My mom just had knee surgery a couple weeks ago, so love you, Mom. My dad's up in the suite staying dry, so I don't know what we just witnessed. Everybody at Collick Racing, all the men and women, to finally get Ellsworth Advisors in victory lane. Leaf filter gutter protection. We had the Nutrient Ag Solutions in-car cam. Chris Rice stuck with me. I'm not gonna lie. I was complaining the whole race. That was miserable, crazy. The 98 Chase Briscoe was doing a fantastic job. I didn't really have anything for him after a couple laps, but I knew that final restart, I was gonna do everything I could.
AJ, you're gonna be in the booth tonight at 8 o'clock for the IMSA race. What kind of a notebook do you have for them?
Hang on. I mean, they got headlights a little bit, so it's not as bad, but in the infield, with no lights in there and the world's biggest Jumbotron blaring in, I mean, you couldn't see anything. I was just guessing where the corners were. You just praying that when you hit the puddles, you don't just go sliding off the racetrack. So I just can't thank everybody at Collick Racing, Matt Collick, Chris Rice for listening to me complain for about however long we've been out there for. So unbelievable.
Challenge met today in victory lane for the 5th time in his Xfinity Series career, AJ Allmendinger.